The first official poll came out from the committee on Tuesday. But don't kid yourself. For these two teams and all the others with one loss, the playoffs have already begun. One more loss and you can probably kiss a chance at the first ever college football playoff goodbye. Auburn, so close to the title last year they could taste it. This year, Gus Malzahn's high-octane, high-scoring offense has everyone down on the plains screaming, War Eagle. As the clock struck midnight on Cinderella Ole Miss, the darlings of the Magnolia State had their first misstep of the season last week. But the fans in the Grove will continue to scream hotty-totty as long as the Landshark defense is circling the waters of Oxford. No need to wait until January 1st in the playoffs. They're already here. It's the Tigers and the Rebels. A primetime matchup in prime time next. You mean to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. A packed house at Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. And why not? Number 3 Auburn comes to town to take on the 4th-ranked Rebels of Ole Miss. You take a look at the Western Division standings in the SEC. Mississippi State's got a game starting in about 10 minutes. They're the only ones without a blemish. But with one loss each, Ole Miss and Auburn right there on their tails, and both in definite need of a win here tonight. These fans have been waiting a week to try to get the taste out of their mouth of that one loss last week on the road in Baton Rouge. And they are geared up. They've had a full day in the Grove, and they're waiting for these guys in the navy and red to come out of that tunnel. Even with one loss, off to their best start in 24 years. Said Tuesday night when they found out they were still in the top 4, that put a smile on the face of his Rebels. And right now he's going to freeze them in the tunnel for a second. And then this place will erupt. Feeling. It feels like the playoffs. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler with Todd Blackledge. A little bit of history here, partner, tonight, I think. First time on Tuesday, the committee comes out with the college football rankings. Of course, these two teams would like to be in that top 4 on December 7th. But to the fact that they're 3-4 right now, it's looking pretty good for them. And it's got that feeling right now. They know they've got to win. You get 2 losses, you're probably not going to be there at the end of the year.
It's just amazing to me when I think about these two teams and how far they've come. A little over a year ago when they met in Auburn, Ole Miss was ranked 24th. Auburn was not even ranked. Auburn went on to play for the national championship, losing to Florida State. And now this year, they're both legitimately in that conversation.
Auburn's starting to look like that team a little bit right now. They average 39 points a game. The problem is they're going against a defense that doesn't give up any points.
It's a tremendous matchup of strength on strength. And when you talk about the Auburn offense, it all revolves around their running game. And last week, they looked like the Auburn of 2013 with quarterback Nick Marshall running the show. They ran for a season-high 395 yards on the ground. They had a season-low 15 pass attempts. And that is when this offense is at their best, when they only throw it when they want to and run it down people's throat. Now, this Ole Miss defense, they're special. They lead the nation in scoring defense, the stingiest in the country. They also, the most opportunistic, lead the nation in turnover margin and interceptions. They're fast, they're furious, and this matchup of strength versus strength is going to be fun to watch.
Auburn in the midst of an unbelievable schedule, especially with games on the road. It starts here tonight. Can they handle that defensive Ole Miss? We're about ready to find it out. We'll talk to Holly in kick it off when we come back.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Goodyear, chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. And Allstate, proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands?
The SEC on ESPN, and it couldn't be a bigger one tonight. Number 3 and number 4, Auburn and Ole Miss. Auburn won the toss. They want the football. So the Rebels have got it teed up. Nathan Noble to kick. Corey Grant and Rock Thomas are on the other end, and here we go. Corey Grant from the goal line. Grant's got a seam, got across the 25 to the 27, and we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Ole Miss coming off their first loss of the season, and their quarterback, Bo Wallace, somewhat lost his composure last week. In fact, threw a last-second interception that may have cost them the game. His head coach, Hugh Freeze, had a talk with him this week on Sunday, and he said it was very to the point. He said, I wanted to tell him I could notice the differences in the way he handled himself on the sideline in our wins against Alabama and Texas A&M and our loss against LSU, so he could tell there is a correlation between how he is and his team. He wants a more calm, relaxed Bo Wallace on the sidelines as a leader tonight.
Hugh's done a great job in his third year here in Oxford. His top-ranked defense out there against Auburn. And it's Ricardo Lewis on the end around, and he's got about 13 on the carry. And immediately a first down.
And immediately tempo for Auburn's offense. They want to run tempo. They've got to make first downs to do it. A good start for the Tigers.
We'll try to get you the impact players if we get a chance. Ricardo Lewis, by the way, is one of them. They fake it to him, and it's Artis Payne for a couple. Let's take a look at those Chick-fil-A impact players. Ricardo Lewis went over 100 yards rushing last week. First Auburn receiver ever to do that. Artis Payne really coming into his own right now. Marquise Haynes starting tonight. He had a huge game a couple of weeks ago when we were here. And Sinquez Golson, up until Thursday night, was tied for number 1 in the country in interceptions with 8. Second down and 8. Play action for Marshall. Rolls to throw, fires on the run, and into some traffic, tucked it in there. First down at Duke Williams.
Now, Duke Williams is such a big physical receiver that he catches the ball very well in traffic. And Nick Marshall knows where he wants to go when he needs a throw. He targets most of his throws to Duke Williams. I mean, that's not a high percentage throw, but that's a guy who makes a catch in traffic.
Rock Thomas, a freshman, in there right now on a first down from the 46-yard line. Marshall fakes it to him and then flies one out there in the flats to Quan Bray, and Bray's got another first down, and Auburn's off to a great start down to the 25.
And first down is such a critical down in this ball game. Auburn's offense is predicated on being productive on first down. That's a triple option play. They fake to the back, the quarterback can run, and instead of having a pitch man, they have a bubble screen instead as the triple option part of the play.
Grant and Thomas both in the backfield this time, and it's Marshall on the keeper. They're trying to drag him down, and he's going to go down for a loss. Good job by Marquise Haynes, first to make contact coming around that corner.
Again, who wins first down, I think, is the key to the game when Auburn's on offense and Ole Miss is on defense. That was a win there for this Ole Miss defense. You have to create some negative plays and put this offense behind schedule a little bit and make Nick Marshall have to throw the football.
Second down and 11, empty backfield. And now Thomas will join Marshall there. And he gives it off to him on the right side down to the 20. And it'll bring up the first third down of the night.
One of the reasons that playing well on first down is so important against this Auburn offense is Auburn coming into the game leads the nation in third down percentage. 56% they convert. And a lot of that has to do with how productive they are on first down. But this is an area where Ole Miss has to hold their own on third down and 5.
See if that top-ranked defense can make a stop right at the red zone marker at the 20 on 3rd and 5. Play action. Marshall fires near the goal line, and is it caught? It is. Nope. They're going to say out of bounds. It was Duke Williams bottling it.
Well, again, you see who Nick Marshall goes to on third down. He's going to look for Duke Williams, and he's going to throw it even though there's double coverage. There's 2 defenders there, but the big body of Duke Williams shields him away from the defender.
That was close.
Yep, the referee said he was bobbling it before he got the foot down. I don't know. They might take a look at this one.
The field goal unit is out there. Daniel Carlson lined up to try a 37-yard field goal.
He did bobble it, but it looked like he might have secured it with both feet in bounds before his body fell out of bounds.
It was an incomplete pass. The previous play is under review.
The referee, Ken Williamson. Our replay official is Doyle Jackson. Bill Lamagna is our rules official, who's up here in the booth with us. Bill, what do you got?
I think the head linesman had a pretty good look at it. There was a bobble. Looks like he did start to re-secure it. The feet were in bounds. So we'll see what replay does with it. But from the one official's angle, he sees the bobble. The other official sees control.
There was definitely a bobble. There's no question about it. But it looked as though he secured it with his feet in bounds before his body fell out of bounds.
That's what the Auburn fans are thinking. And I'm sure Ole Miss hoping that the ruling on the field will stand and enforce a field goal. You know, you talked about going to Duke Williams on third down. He throws to him on third down and completes and converts more third downs than the rest of the team combined.
Well, that was the 11th conversion. If it stands, it would be the 11th conversion of a third down pass going to Duke Williams, and the rest of the team combined was 11 times he's done it. So right now it's 11-10, and if this play gets reversed, it would be 11 apiece, Duke Williams and the rest of the team.
Here comes a call.
After further review, the runner possessed the ball and was in bounds, still going out of bounds. Therefore, it's Auburn's ball. First and goal on the 2-yard line.
First and goal, Auburn. They overturn the ruling on the field. Good call.
You know, sometimes when you have a premier receiver, and particularly a big-bodied receiver like Duke Williams, as a quarterback, you have so much confidence. You're going to throw that ball and give him a chance, even against tight coverage, trusting that that receiver is going to make a play. And Duke Williams came up big for Nick Marshall on that one.
There's the red zone possessions.
Nick Marshall had 3 touchdown runs last week against South Carolina. A very slippery runner. He's not overpowering. He's not a blazing fast guy, but a very gifted runner.
He's going to keep it straight up the middle. Good enough to get to the end zone. Touchdown, Auburn. So that's the 7th rushing touchdown of the year for Nick Marshall. Great looking drive to open things up for Auburn.
You have to respect the sweep, and they pull the backside guard, Devontae Danzy, number 53, in front of Nick Marshall. That's just a very difficult play to stop because you have to respect the speed sweep, and then Nick Marshall pulls that football and follows the guard into the end zone.
Daniel Carlson for the point after. Up and good. Not even 3 minutes into the first quarter. And the number 3 team led by Nick Marshall goes 73 yards in 8 plays. The capper, Marshall, does it himself from 2 yards out. 7-zip Tigers. A great start for the Auburn Tigers, out in front 7-0. Talk about taking a crowd out of the game in the first 3 minutes. And Gus Malzahn, when his team scores first, they don't lose.
Yeah. Well, that was picture perfect. And again, Nick Marshall picking up right where he left off a week ago, directing this offense. They had a season-high 395 yards rushing on the ground last week against South Carolina. And this is about the time of the year where that running game last year started to really kick in gear. And now they are trending that way to start the ball game tonight.
Carlson to kick. Jalen Walton and Mark Dodson back deep. Jalen Walton a couple yards in the end zone, hesitated, and now brings it out. Well, he's got a nice return out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. So take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players. Jalen Walton's one of them, not only their top tailback, but he's 3rd all-time in kickoff return yardage at Ole Miss. Cody Core is an Auburn, Alabama native, went to Auburn High School. You know he wants to play well tonight. Chris Frost had some knee problems earlier. He's healthy now. He had 14 tackles, a career high last week. And Jonathan Jones on the back end, 2 interceptions a week ago. He's got 5 interceptions, and the majority of them have come in the end zone to stop drives by opponents. I think we got an illegal block in the back on the kickoff, so instead of the 22, it's going to be about the 7-yard line.
And one of the most devastating penalties, really, when you get a penalty on kickoff return and it sets you back like this after a decent return.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult way to start the game for Bo Wallace and this Ole Miss offense.
That's when you got your tailback at the goal line. Auburn fans in that end zone try to make it difficult for Bo Wallace in the gun. He's going to throw from the goal line. Fires complete across the 10 and out to Evan Engram, the tight end, as we check in with Holly.
Well, guys, this is a big issue right now. Laramie Tunsil, the very talented left tackle for Ole Miss, has been gone into the locker room. So right now, Ben Still, the center, who was questionable, has gone out to play. And Robert Conyers, who was going to play center, is out at left tackle in his place. I'll get an update as quick as possible.
All right, Holly, thanks. Here's a pitch to Walton. Nice cut. Out to the 20 and a first down.
Actually, Conyers is at right tackle. Fawn Cooper, who is normally the right tackle, is moved over and starting at left tackle, I believe. But it's good news that Ben Still is playing. It's also good news that Evan Engram caught the first play of the game. He was held without a catch last week against LSU, and he's a big part of this Ole Miss offense.
They felt like on their offensive line they had a little better plan going into the night than they did at LSU. A physical ball game against LSU, obviously, in that loss last week. Took a lot out of some of those players, and thus the shifting on that front that we're talking about.
Well, the plan is better, but the bad news is that Tunsil is the best offensive lineman that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, he is very, very talented and really creates a lot of things that they can do in their screen game, especially throwing out to the left to Laquan Treadwell. That's kind of gone away with him not in the ball game.
They could use Michael Orr out there on that side. He's at the game tonight. Second down and 7. Empty backfield for Bo Wallace with 3 wideouts to his right. He's looking that way, and he's not going to get a pass away. Maybe he will. He does. Down the sideline, and incomplete, intended for Laquan Treadwell. Somehow Bo got out of that mess and did get the pass away.
One of the things that has hurt Auburn the last couple of weeks has been the lack of a pass rush. Against Dak Prescott of Mississippi State and Dylan Thompson last week against South Carolina, just not able to generate much pass rush. That time they were able to get to Wallace, not get the sack, but force a throw out of bounds.
And forces a third down and 7. Ole Miss 42% on their third down conversions. That's been going backward in the last couple of weeks. They were much higher than that about 3 weeks ago. Plenty of time for Wallace this time. Throws incomplete. A flag is down.
I don't think Ole Miss was set when the ball was snapped. Bo Wallace was fighting the play clock and was trying to get the ball snapped quickly, and I don't think everybody was lined up and set for a full second before the ball was snapped.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 8. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Another force the punt. It was Adeboyejo who was the intended receiver, in fact. So just as much as Auburn had a great start offensively, Ole Miss didn't. And that means Will Gleason to kick.
And as much as anything, it was the penalty on the kickoff return that really set it back. You know, you have a script, an idea of how you want to start your first possession. And when you go back that deep, it changes everything.
Tried one of those flip kicks to keep it out of Quan Bray's hand. And while doing so, it did get a roll at the end, but not the longest kick in the world. Rolls down to around the 33-yard line. So Nick Marshall's ready to strap it up. He's already scored a touchdown.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick.
Halloween weekend. A great time in the square last night, and an even better time here tonight. So far, though, the fans have seen their team give up a touchdown, and they had only given up 2 first-half touchdowns all year long, and only 1 by their defense. Well, they've already given up 1 in the opening 3 minutes of this one.
And Auburn off to a great start running the football. Might expect to see a little play-action pass on this first down play.
From the 33-yard line. They give it off. Artis Payne. Big run. all the way across midfield before they can drag him down.
You know, this guy is an interesting guy. He's not flashy. The coaches describe him as steady. They always know what they're going to get from him. But you know, the thing about it is he's run for more yards through 7 games than anybody since Cam Newton in 2010. So even more yards than Trey Mason had at this point in the season a year ago. And Trey Mason ended up in New York for the Heisman ceremony.
He had a career high against Arkansas, 177. He had 167 last week in the win over South Carolina. He was off to a great start here tonight. Got him to the 47-yard line. He'll carry it again. Trying to get outside. Picked up 3. Sir Darius Bryant finally got him down.
You know, I talked about winning first down. If you're an offense, in order to stay ahead of schedule or on schedule, that means 4 yards or more. If you gain 4 yards or more on a first down play, then you win. I mean, that gives you a lot of options on second down and then manageable situations normally on third down. So a defense is looking to keep you between 0 and 3 yards, or a negative play even better. And so far, Auburn having the best of it on first down.
They held him to 3, so it's 2nd down and 7. Play action blitz coming. Marshall loads and going long. Man out there, and he dropped it. Sammy Coates had his hands on it and couldn't hold it. Senquez Golson was back there with him.
Well, Senquez Golson has had a phenomenal year. 8 interceptions. He knows how to play the football. He's reading the quarterback, reading the ball, has both hands on the ball, as well as Sammy Coates. Coates a much bigger athlete than Golson, but Golson up for the challenge on that single coverage situation.
And the crowd realizing early this is the biggest play so far for their defense. 3rd down and 7. Play clock down to 1. Marshall slip screen out to Coates, and they'll bring him down short of the first down.
Well played by Ole Miss. We're not fooled. 3rd down, longer situation. Ole Miss read the screen quickly.
So out comes the punting unit. Jimmy Hutchinson will be set to punt this one. And Markel Pack, the freshman, is back at the 5-yard line.
Interesting that Pack has his heels on the 5-yard line instead of the 10, which you normally see.
Calls for the fair catch and fields it around the 7. Just over 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Ole Miss and their offense will have it when we come back.
I'm Reese Davis, Dr. Pepper conference update in the Big 12. It came right down to the end, and Jared Oberchrome of TCU from 37 yards out breaks West Virginia's heart. 31-30. Horned Frogs stay in the mix. One of those one-loss teams, and we'll see how they move up in the eyes of the selection committee come Tuesday night, Brad.
Wow, Reese, what a game. Here at 7-0, 3rd-ranked Auburn. And Ole Miss starting from the 8-yard line. Tavius Mathers in the backfield with Bo Wallace. And it's Mathers who will be dropped for a loss. Angelo Blackson, big play by the big man at defensive tackle.
You know, that first down productivity works when Ole Miss is on offense and Auburn's on defense as well. It's not just when the two strength of the units are on the field. And right now, Auburn taking advantage of superior field position early in this ball game. Gets a big negative yardage play by their defense on that first down play.
And with that banged up offensive line that's been repatched a little bit, they got a hold here because Wallace is going to be throwing from his own end zone if he throws. And he will. And he's in trouble, and he's got it out complete to Vince Sanders. As we check in with Holly.
Laramie Tunsil, the left tackle for Ole Miss, is questionable to return to this game with a shoulder injury. Guys, he had been fighting a partially torn bicep, so this is a new injury for Tunsil. We'll see Fawn Cooper, a JC transfer, take that left tackle spot, but he has practiced there all week. It was his natural position in junior college. He should be comfortable there tonight.
Let's see if they're comfortable on this 3rd down and long. Got to get out to the 18-yard line. Wallace fires in the middle and got it. Sanders again, first down.
Nice throw by Bo Wallace. Under pressure, stays right in there and steps into the throw. Little post route, in between two defenders, perfectly thrown ball, and here's tempo for Ole Miss.
They were hoping to get into some, and they needed that 18-yard pickup on first down to get into it. And then there is Laramie Tunsil, the big 300-pounder out of Lake City, Florida.
Well, and he has his helmet, which would suggest to me that he may be trying to get back in the ball game.
Second down and 7. Ole Miss just inside its own 30-yard line. Play action throw on a screen. And it's Treadwell, and he's got a first down.
Good call that time on the screen because Auburn came up and forced the line of scrimmage. They showed blitz. It's good to run a screen if you can pick off that one man against the blitz. And they got another first down out of the play.
At the 38-yard line. Wallace wants to throw on first down. Pressure from the backside. Bo's got a run to throw, and he throws a strike. Oh, that might be a late hit out there. Sanders made the catch.
There's a flag.
Jonathan Jones hit him late. That's going to be another 15 after a 23-yard pickup.
Well, we asked the question, how would Bo Wallace respond after a poor performance and a lack of poise last week in Baton Rouge? So far, playing very well under control. He delivers the ball on third down, and on this play, flush from the pocket. He doesn't panic. He keeps his eyes downfield and delivers a nice throw to Sanders, and then the penalty at the end of the play. And Ole Miss now moving closer to scoring territory.
Not only is Jones penalized, he's put over on the sideline, and Trevon Reed goes in to take his spot.
And Jones is their best cover guy.
Yes.
I would go right after Trevon Reed if I was Bo Wallace.
Little option here. And the shovel pass inside, and that got leveled. Casanova McKenzie, the inside linebacker. Nice play.
And McKenzie was not fooled. Reading it right in the middle of the screen. He's trailing the play, sees it all the way, diagnoses it. It's a safe play for Auburn because even if the ball's dropped, it's not a fumble. It's an incomplete pass. But a nice play by McKenzie nonetheless.
Evan Ingram got the completion, didn't gain any yards on it, and then got pelted. So it's second down and 10. Wallace is going to throw after it looked like he'd run. And it's first and goal. It's Sanders' third catch on this drive.
Well, this is a little trick right out of the Auburn playbook. Show quarterback run and then throw it when the defense responds and reacts. Jonathan Mincy, number 6, is going to come up and try to stop the quarterback. He left coverage, and Bo Wallace is able to get the ball to Sanders.
Rebels first and goal at the 3. Trying to tie things up. Fade, and Sanders broke off his route. Jonathan Mincy was covering. Incomplete.
Miscommunication there because Sanders was blocking. Not only did he break off his route, he was blocking. And Bo Wallace, somehow there was a miscommunication between quarterback and receiver for the first time on this drive. This is where Ole Miss has a little bit of a problem because Bo Wallace, not quite the nifty a runner that Nick Marshall is in the red zone, but this is an area that calls for quarterback run.
He does have 2 touchdowns on the ground. Here's a little flip on the fly sweep, and that one's going nowhere either. Jalen Walton lost a yard, it looks like.
See, this is the difference, I think, between Auburn's offense and Ole Miss's offense. One of the difference. When Auburn gets in this part of the field, they are very difficult to keep out of the end zone because of the running ability of Marshall, their offensive line, and they're able to run with power. Ole Miss is more of a finesse running team. And when they want to go to power, sometimes they even bring in Jeremy Liggins, their other quarterback, to run.
Wallace under center. The pitch to Mathers, trying to get to the corner. Got a block. Touchdown. Tavius Mathers on the score.
Well, again, a little bit of a finesse play. Not power football, but they fooled the Auburn defense a little bit. They went with a quick count, and they got a tremendous job blocking by Laquan Treadwell on the perimeter.
They started at their own 8-yard line. 92 yards later and 11 plays later. Little over 4 minutes for Octavius Mathers to tie it at 7. (7-7), 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Let's take a look at how Ole Miss is finding success. Brought to you by Expedia. Mr. Blackledge.
Well, Ole Miss kind of fooled them. First by formation, they put 3 tight ends over here. And then Bo Wallace is going to give a little bit of a fake this way, and then they're going to shoot Mathers out this way. Watch the little fake to the right. That freezes the defense just enough to get Mathers to the perimeter. And then Laquan Treadwell, the only receiver out there, does a great job of blocking not one but 2 guys. Gets a piece of 2 Auburn defenders and helps Mathers get in the end zone. Well designed by formation and then execution for the Ole Miss touchdown.
Long touchdown march of 92 yards. Nathan Noble to kick. Crowd's back into it now too, if you haven't noticed. This kick is shorter. Going to have to take it on the run at about the 12. Rock Thomas takes it there. Thomas back up tailback, looking like one as he gets across the 30 out to the 33-yard line. That's where the Tigers will go to work. We got a chance to remind you. Monday night, Andrew Luck and the Colts head to New York. They'll take on Eli Manning and the Giants Monday at 8:15 on ESPN, and watch ESPN. No other night is like Monday night. Of course, Eli, a star here in his collegiate days. There's the numbers right now. Andrew Luck tied with Peyton Manning for the most touchdowns in the league right now with 22. Eli owns property here. Archie and Olivia own property here. Cooper owns property here in Oxford. The only one that doesn't is Peyton. He's a Tennessee guy.
I imagine he owns a little property somewhere.
He's probably got property all over. I don't know what I'm talking about. First down at the 33. On a sweep is Lewis, and he got to the 35, pickup of a couple. He had a great game last week. We mentioned it before. He had 3 carries, I should say, to become the first Auburn wide receiver to go over 100 yards. He had 102 yards rushing and a 75-yard touchdown in that mix.
And they used him a lot on the jet sweep, and he had a 75-yard touchdown a week ago. That was a huge play in the ball game.
Second down and 8.
Another win for the Ole Miss defense on first down right there.
Giving up only 2 yards. Marshall going to keep it after the play fake. I think he maybe wanted to throw, and he got leveled after a pickup of a yard.
You have to be disciplined. Ole Miss's defense, when we talk to them about playing this offense, Auburn's going to show you a lot of motion and shifting and movement. They call it eye candy. Try to get the defense to look at the wrong things. That time, great discipline by the Ole Miss defense. You got to account for the dive back. You got to account for the quarterback. It's just like playing a triple option team most of the time.
Dave Womack called it eye candy. Some of the defensive players called it smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to call it. Auburn didn't like the look of what they had. Gus Malzahn will take a timeout here with a key third down upcoming. (7-7) game. Auburn's got a third down and 7 upcoming. We talked about it earlier that Nick Marshall really looks to Duke Williams in situations like this. That completion that he got, the bobbling catch, and then the catch at the 2-yard line that led to Nick's touchdown. It was the 11th time he's gone to him for a first down, and you take the rest of the team combined. And so you got to know that wherever number 1 is, Nick's kind of got him out of the corner of his eye a little bit.
Yep. And if you put him in the slot or in a bunch formation like they have him right now, it's very difficult to double cover him when he's in a position like that.
They fake the fly sweep. Marshall getting some pressure. Keeps his eyes downfield. Now he's going to run for it. And might have a face mask. There's a flag down.
Now, there's a flag back in the area where you would think it might be holding.
Holding.
And it is.
Offense, number 53. Penalty is 10 yards from previous spot. Repeat third down.
So they'll have to do third down again.
Devontae Danzy right there is the hold to grab on C.J. Johnson, rushing from the outside. Ole Miss has two outstanding fast edge rushers in C.J. Johnson and the freshman Marquise Haynes. They're not overly big, but they're very quick off the line of scrimmage. And especially with a crowd involved, it's difficult for those offensive linemen sometimes to get off on the right jump. Third down and very long. I would expect Ole Miss to rush 3 and drop and try to keep everything in front on this 3rd and long play.
Only one guy with his hand on the ground, actually 2 now. Kondichi playing defensive end, 3rd down and 17. And another flag. And it's getting worse. 3rd and 22 coming up.
The ball is now spotted at the 21-yard line.
Well, Auburn has enjoyed a field position edge for most of this first quarter. And with these penalties now, if they don't convert here, Ole Miss is going to kind of flip the field on them.
Marshall all alone on that Auburn backfield. And now joined by Corey Grant. Gives it to Grant. Safe play here. Can Grant weave that far for a first down, though? Still on his feet. He got a lot of it back out to about the 36-yard line. And it'll be 4th down. Picked up 15, though. And here comes the punting unit.
One of the things that I think Auburn has done better the last few weeks and why their running game has picked up, they're blocking on the perimeter much better. That time, C.J. Uzoma, the tight end, did a great job of blocking out there, and they came very close to converting on a 3rd and long with a running play.
Daniel Carlson, who does all the kicking chores except kicking off, is the punter as well. Averaging just under 42 a kick. Markel Pack is way back there on the other end. And he's got to get out of the way of this one. And it's a nice punt. Takes it down to the 15-yard line with 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter here. Let's check into the studio with Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Brad, Taco Bell studio update in the Pac-12. Marcus Mariota had already converted a 4th down against Stanford to keep a drive alive. Finds the freshman Charles Nelson. And Mariota 0-2 is a starter against the Cardinal with a quick 7-0 lead in Autzen.
All right, Reese, thanks. Our college football rankings brought to you by Allstate. And there you see Oregon in the number 5 spot and leading by that touchdown Reese just talked about. Here, Ole Miss and Auburn, 4 and 3 respectively.
And Laramie
in action, and Mississippi State trailing in their game with Arkansas.
Laramie Tunsil still on the sideline. So Fawn Cooper still the left tackle. Robert Conyers the right tackle.
Blitz coming on Wallace on first down. Throws it too high for Laquan Treadwell. It's funny, you look at Treadwell and then you flip it over on the other side and look at Duke Williams. 2 guys wearing the same number, built the same, strong receivers.
Yeah, and they both do one thing that you know, I just love watching. They snatch the football. They don't allow the football to come to them. They go get the football when they catch it. They pluck it out of the air, both of them.
On the option, the pitch to the trailer, Walton. Jalen Walton out to the 22. And he'll be short of the first down. Brings up 3rd. Might get another play in here before the end of the quarter. Bo Wallace just looked up at the scoreboard, though, I think, as if to say, well, should we wait on this? And they will. Telling that reshuffled offensive line, good job for the first 15, fellas. Gives us everybody a pat on the backside, and the quarter comes to a close. Good one between the Tigers and the Rebels. End of 1 in Oxford, 7-7. The SEC on ESPN has us in Oxford, Mississippi tonight. Number 3 Auburn, number 4 Ole Miss. And Ole Miss starts the second quarter with a 3rd down and 3. Brad Nessler, Tom Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew here on an electric night, cool night on the first day of November. It was about 50 at kickoff. Wallace empty backfield on 3rd and 3. Sanders has been his favorite target so far through the first 15 minutes. He's in trouble. Got away. Going to try to run for it. Stretches his hand out, and he is right on the line. I think maybe they're going to have to take a look at this one. He might just be inches short.
Well, a good decision nonetheless for Bo Wallace. They may come up short here, but he didn't try to force a play. The pocket kind of gave way on him. He did the right thing of trying to get up the middle, get as much as he could, try to stretch that ball past the first down marker. But, you know, as a quarterback, your goal really is to end every drive with a kick. There's nothing wrong with that when you have a great defense.
Right. You can end it with an extra point or a punt.
That's ideally an extra point or a field goal. But a punt is not bad when your defense is as good as this Land Shark defense.
And I think Hugh Freeze is saying, how come I didn't get a measurement? Punting unit out there. Will Gleason to kick. Quan Bray, dangerous return man when he gets a little bit of space. He's taken 2 this year for touchdowns. I don't know about this kick.
Wow.
I'm not crazy about those rugby style kicks, especially when it goes only to the 48-yard line on your end. That's not good. 23-yard punt. Don't forget, you can get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. NFL Countdown presented by Snickers. Chris Berman and the guys providing all the latest news and updates around the NFL right up until kickoff. And before you set your lineup, Fantasy Football Now, delivered by Papa John's at 11 a.m. It's on ESPN News tomorrow. Both shows also available on Watch ESPN. So all that hard work by Ole Miss to try to get at least an opportunity to, as Todd said, flip the field, and they flipped the punt is what they did.
And
Auburn starting in Ole Miss territory.
Yeah, perfect situation to take a shot here on first down.
Artis Payne busts through. He's got a first down and about a 13-yard run before Sherdarius Bryant brings him down.
That's the 4th play on first down that they've gone for over 10 yards. And mostly just by running the football. Basic run. Again, Artis Payne, you know what you get with him.
You get him again straight up the middle, and he's got 4 or 5 more. Before a host of rebels stand him up, they never do get him to the turf. And they're going to spot it just outside the 30.
This Auburn offense a year ago led the nation in rushing. They averaged over 50 carries per game. Again, they kind of hit their stride last week against South Carolina. They've got better continuity in their offensive line, better blocking on the perimeter with their wide receivers and tight ends, and of course Nick Marshall playing at an extremely high level.
Rock Thomas will flank Marshall and get the carry, and the freshman's got a first down. Trey Elston brings him down along with Woodrow Hamilton.
Interestingly, Nick Marshall is wearing a glove on both his left hand and his throwing hand as you take a look at the breakdown of first down plays. And again, there's Auburn with 4 of them of 10 yards or more. Those are big wins for the Auburn offense against this Ole Miss defense. He didn't wear one at all last year except in the rain at LSU, and he took it off in the second half. He said whenever the weather goes under 40 degrees, he likes to wear a glove. This is the first time that he's worn one. So far, it doesn't seem to be bothering him. 4 of 5 throwing the football tonight.
Braden Smith in there. The tight end is an extra tackle, and it's Artis Payne trying to work his way to the 20. And again, they don't get him on the deck. C.J. Johnson stands him up, though. And they're approaching the red zone just outside the 20 is where they're going to put it down. 3 minutes into the second quarter. Auburn threatening here offensively. I go back to, I know you love punters and kickers, but I go back to that punt. That was ridiculous. Yeah. That just gave Auburn every opportunity in the world to think, hey, we're on their side of the field. Let's go down here and get a touchdown.
Let's be aggressive. You know, you're much more aggressive of a play caller when you get the ball on the other side of the 50-yard line than when you're in your own territory.
Corey Grant sweeps the left side, and he's got another first down before Cody Pruitt can put a hat on him. Flag on the play, though, near the end of the play. And Ole Miss, C.J. Johnson says it's against Auburn.
It's like they might get the tight end, Uzoma, with a hold on the outside.
Holding offense, number 81. The penalty is 10 yards for the spot of the foul.
That's a really tough block for a tight end. He's blocking against Sherdarius Bryant. He's out there in space, one-on-one. The back could go either inside or outside. That's a tough block. You want to try to keep your hands inside and not get them outside on the defender. But that defender can go either way on you, and that's asking a lot on the perimeter.
And Uzoma with the penalty backs it up to second down and 12. Now a lot of shifting going on. And on the sweep, Corey Grant to the 20, maybe to the 19.
It's interesting in talking to some of the Ole Miss defensive players, they felt like they were built a little bit better as a defense in their normal 4-2-5 alignment, built on speed to play the perimeter run game of Auburn better than that north-south run game that they got hammered with last week against LSU with 2 tight ends and 2 backs. So far, the perimeter run game of Auburn pretty successful against this defense.
LSU rang up 264 on them last week. 3rd down and 7. Marshall's throw is intercepted and down the sideline and out of bounds. And another takeaway. Sinquez Golson, who else?
Well, he's so confident. There's a flag down. It's probably a block on the return that won't take the interception away, but Sinquez Golson is playing with so much confidence. He just squatted on the route and read the quarterback.
After the interception during the return, walking it back, number 27, Ole Miss, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
But most importantly, they've got the ball back. Number 9 on the season for the little cornerback. That's 1 off what Gerard Holloman of Louisville's got. He's got 10, but Ole Miss has got the ball back. Big play. Of Pascagoula, Mississippi. Sinquez Golson, his 9th interception, is our good hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
Well, he is lined up on Duke Williams, but it's not man coverage. It's a zone coverage. Here's Golson right here, and you can see it's zone because his eyes are looking in at the quarterback, not locked on the receiver. So as he drops into coverage, he is reading the quarterback, Nick Marshall, the whole way, and then breaks on the ball underneath the route. That's just extremely well played by Golson, and Marshall had no chance on that one. Probably needed to go somewhere else on the field, but again, I think Ole Miss knows when Marshall needs a throw, he's looking to number 1, and they were locked in on that.
1 off the single season record set by Bobby Wilson back in the day. 9th pick of the year, and that's 1 behind the leader, Gerard Holloman of Louisville, who had a couple on Thursday night against Florida State. Here's a throw out to Treadwell. And he's got a pickup of 9.
Interestingly, they love to throw that wide receiver screen to Treadwell when he's on the left, when Tunsil's the left tackle. Tunsil not in the ball game, still out. That time they threw it to the right. Robert Conyers over there playing the right tackle. And again, the return of Ben Still as the starting center has really solidified the offensive line tonight for him.
Walton's going to go down for a loss. Nice play by Gabe Wright, one of the captains of the defense out of Columbus, Georgia. You know, that interception by Golson, it's the 32nd straight game that Ole Miss has had a turnover, and that is close to tops in the country.
18th interception on the season as a team.
3rd down and 3. Cody Core in motion. Wallace squared his body away and got it to Treadwell. Looked like that was going to be a bad throw, but Bo got it around and got it out there.
And did you see again how Treadwell snatches the football? Watch number 1. This is a short, hard throw, and he just snatches it. I saw him do that on a jugs machine in practice back in August. This is a bullet that he just reaches out and snatches and then converts.
Had a flag on the play.
Did we get an announcement there?
No, I didn't get it. At any rate, it's back to the 20-yard line where it's 3rd down. It was a holding call.
Now
So
here's
now they're going to have to earn it again, 3rd and 13.
And this is where Bo Wallace needs to be smart with the football.
Auburn thinking about bringing pressure. They do bring an extra man, and Wallace throws near sideline and in and out of the hands of Cody Core. Would have been a 1st down. So punting units will come out.
Nice play by Robinson Therese in coverage on that play, number 27. Therese had a 78-yard interception return for a touchdown against Ole Miss in the game a year ago.
Now let's see if Ole Miss gets a better punt this time. As I mentioned, Quan Bray has a couple of returns for scores this year. Taken at the 40. Bray made the first man miss. Quan Bray looking for a block. Flags go down, and this one will be an illegal block. It'll bring it back. Only a 39-yard punt again, 10-yard return, but it's going to go back. And Auburn will be a little deeper in their own territory, I think, after this call.
During the return, block in the back, receiving team, number 9. The penalty is 10 yards to respond to the foul. First down.
8:44 remaining first half. Tie game here in Oxford.
Reese Davis with you. Number 1 Mississippi State already trailing Arkansas. The freshman Jamoro Graham lets a punt go right through him, and the Bulldogs now turned it over a couple of times, and Arkansas is threatening to make it a 2-score lead. They're up 3-0. Game's on ESPN2. Dak Prescott has already thrown an interception, guys.
All right, Reese, thanks. Arkansas looking for that breakout win in the SEC, or a win in the SEC. And take a look at the West standings. They're undefeated, but Ole Miss, Auburn, and Alabama right on their heels. And these two teams deadlocked at 7 right now with 8:44 remaining in our first half. Auburn started off great opening drive. Got them a touchdown in 8 plays. Since then, it's been a struggle against that Ole Miss defense. 43 yards, an interception, and a couple of punts. They fake the throw, and on the Statue of Liberty type play, Corey Grant's going to go down for a loss. And it's Sinquez Golson making the play.
You know, he's not very big. 5'9", 176 pounds. We've seen him in pass coverage. We told you his interception numbers. But this shows you something. A cornerback in run support coming up on the perimeter and making a solid tackle in space.
Flag on the play. We will get a call here from Ken Williamson eventually.
Well, if it's against Auburn, I would imagine Ole Miss would decline with the negative yardage play on first down.
Right.
Personal foul, blocking below the waist. Offense. The penalty is 15 yards.
No, they'll take that
15,
one, though.
yeah.
If it would have been 5, it would have been a different story.
Yep.
Getting back to Sinquez Golson, Holly, as she always does with such aplomb, said, "Are you really 5'9"? He said, "Actually, come on, give me 5'9.5". She said, "How much do you weigh?" "We have you listed at 176. He said, "I'm 185. He's also a great baseball player, and he's probably going to have to choose between the sports. I asked him at that 5'9.5", 185, would he be better served as a baseball player? Because there's Calvin Johnsons of the world at the next level.
Yeah.
He's a good player, though. Really good player. 1st and 25 now. Rock Thomas on the handle, trying to stiff arm Pruitt, and did well to get about 4. That's a good run, because that's one of the best safeties in the country that he just left in his wake.
Doesn't it feel like, though, after that opening drive, this Ole Miss defense has kind of settled into the game? You know, they got a little shell-shocked on that opening possession. It looked real easy for Nick Marshall and Auburn, and ever since then, this defense has kind of settled into the ball game.
Rock Thomas hobbles to the Auburn bench, replaced by Corey Grant on 2nd down and 20. Play action. Marshall loading deep in the middle. Incomplete, and Golson was right there to make a better play on the ball than Sammy Coates was.
Trey Elston was also back there, the safety, but again, Golson reading the quarterback. He knows Sammy Coates is a deep receiver. He's not a real route runner. He's the straight vertical route runner, and Golson right there to make a play on the football.
3rd and 20. And the Landshark defense asking for some noise. They'll get it here before the snap.
Coming into the ball game, Ole Miss, or Auburn rather, 56%. Second in the FBS tonight, only 1 for 4. This is a difficult one here.
And a little miscommunication maybe there as Marshall kind of faked the pitch and decided, I better keep this thing and we should kick it, as he gets it out to the 35-yard line. And the punting unit will come on as we check in with Holly.
After that Auburn opening drive, when they marched right downfield and scored, Ole Miss defense came to the sideline and they were stunned. They hadn't given up a touchdown in the first quarter all season. Well, defensive line coach Chris Kiffin got on him. He's like, guys, we told you to be patient. We told you it was going to take some time to figure out these fits. We've got it now. Let's get out there and start circling.
They outscored the opposition coming into this in the first quarter, 62-3. It's almost unbelievable. Jimmy Hutchinson to punt. And again, Markel Pack just gets everybody out of the way. This one will roll dead around the 26-yard line with 6:37 remaining in the half. Still tied at 7 here at Vaught Hemingway.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited double miles with no blackout dates. And Honda, official music sponsor of ESPN College Football.
In the square, that's about the way Holly drives when she's in the state of Mississippi. Sometimes it can be costly.
Yeah. Well, Ole Miss has had 9 first down plays so far in the ball game. 7 of those 9 have been for 3 yards or less. They need to get a little more productive on first down.
And a flag before the play. Robert Conyers, I think, might have come out of his stance with a false start.
False start. Offense from 75. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Nope. The scoring drives, Nick Marshall was 3 for 3 for 50. Bull was 7 for 8 for 73. The other drives not so good.
Yeah.
Been a struggle for both offenses, and that's courtesy of these two defenses out here tonight. We talk a lot about Ole Miss's defense. It's not like Auburn's is that shabby.
The last 2 games they've had some struggles because they haven't been able to get enough pass rush. So far tonight, they've been able to create some pressure.
Here they come with some pressure right now on Wallace, and it might pay off. Bo got out of it, fakes it, puts the ball in the other hand, heading down the sideline. First down and a whole bunch more. Bo Wallace all the way to the 20.
Laquan Treadwell is unbelievable blocking on the perimeter. He got 2 blocks again. He blocked one man, Jonathan Jones, and as he felt Bo Wallace gaining on him, he left Jones and went and blocked another man.
Flag at the end of the play, but it's a 59-yard run for Wallace. Plus 15. Wow.
Bo Wallace with another good decision. He gets away from pressure. He has a lane, and watch Treadwell. Here's one block. He leaves him and gets another block, and that enables Bo Wallace to get about 15 to 20 more yards on that scramble.
I don't think Bo's ever run that far in his life. It's right at the 10-yard line. First and goal. Wallace throws a screen to Treadwell, giving it back to number 1 for the touchdown. You threw me the block, brother. I'm going to give you a little sugar. Touchdown, Rebels. There's the battery. They're still walking behind the bench together. Extra point is good. That's what Ole Miss was looking for. Their offense to get geared up. And those 2 young men almost did it single-handedly. First, it was quarterback Bo Wallace. 59 yards. Face mask at the end of it. Sets him up at first and goal and says, Wallace, hey, Laquan, get it in there. 14-7. Laquan Treadwell's 5th touchdown catch of the year is made it 14-7 as DirecTV takes you inside that last very quick drive.
Well, on this final touchdown play, the screen, you're going to see some great blocks. Evan Ingram's going to come in and get a block. Jalen Wong's going to go out and get a block. The center's going to come out. But my favorite, watch the left tackle with a club move and then go out to get the block. Watch him knock his man out and then get out there in front of the screen. 3 blockers in front. Easy touchdown for Treadwell. Beautiful drive for the Ole Miss Rebels.
You saw Laquan Treadwell on that bike over there on the sideline. He said, I don't like sitting still. I feel like I got to keep moving. I'm wasting time if I'm not moving. He had a hard time sitting with us in the chair for 20 minutes yesterday. His 5th touchdown has given Ole Miss a 14-7 lead.
The blocks that he has made on the perimeter tonight have been outstanding, though.
They sure have. Noble's kick will come down to the 5 to Corey Grant. Grant out to the 22, and he got popped there.
A lot of penalties on special teams tonight for both teams.
Another flag down.
During the return, holding number 33, the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, number 1, put down.
And again, it puts them back to start inside their own 15-yard line. On Tuesday's College Football Playoff Committee's latest rankings are revealed. You can find out who's in, at least for the time being, College Football Playoff Top 25 ranking show presented by Capital One. Tuesdays, 7:30 on ESPN, and watch ESPN. Of course, the first ones were this past Tuesday. These two teams made the first 4 cut. Auburn ranked 3rd. Ole Miss ranked 4th. Right now, number 4 leading by a touchdown. First down at the 13. Straight ahead on the run by Cameron Artis-Payne. Didn't get much, maybe a couple.
You know, this Ole Miss defense, really the strength is their front. They've got depth. They're able to rotate 9 to 10 guys along the defensive front. They keep them fresh. You know, the difference between a defensive lineman playing 35 snaps a game instead of 50 snaps is huge. And that depth has really paid off for them this year.
The only guy they lost in the past week, Denzel Kondichi, the linebacker, who's out with a broken ankle. Other than that, they've got great depth. Marshall still has it, made 2 men miss, stiff arm, and then he's thrown out of bounds by Cody Pruitt.
I think I made this comment earlier. When you watch him on tape and as a runner, the word that sticks out to me is slippery. He just is hard to get on the ground. He's a very elusive guy, and even there you see it looked like it was going to be a loss of yardage play. He's able to break a couple tackles and get him into a manageable 3rd down, 3rd and short.
And Trey Elston's a guy that's down right now.
Well, the good news for Ole Miss, you don't want to see Elston down, is Chief Brown has a chance to come in the game. He's been out.
There's Denzel Kondichi we were talking about, broken right ankle. He's got one of those little scooters over there to get around. He and his brother Robert, of course, Robert on the defensive front, both out of Atlanta, actually Loganville, Georgia. 3rd down and a long one. This might be Nick Marshall time right here. Well, Artis-Payne will join him now in the backfield. He didn't get it. His helmet's right about at the 1st down marker, but the football's not. Cody Pruitt was on the bottom of that pile coming up from his safety spot.
Mentioned Chief Brown, number 8 in the ball game, replacing Elston. Had an Achilles injury in the summer, and he was a key reserve backup safety last year. And it's good for Ole Miss to get him back. And they come up with a big stop on 3rd and short. That's hard to do, stopping this Auburn run game on 3rd and short.
Hutchinson in for another punt.
Auburn choosing to rest Carlson a little bit. He's normally been the guy that punts all the time and does all the kicking. They didn't want him to kick too much. Hutchinson in for a couple punts today.
Number 32, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
I don't know why you'd have a delay a game with your punting unit out there, but that's the story.
Well, they were late coming on the field. I'm not sure if Gus Malzahn knew if he wanted to go for it or not. It was a little bit late making that decision. And by the time the punting team got out there and got set, the play clock had run out on them.
This should give Ole Miss better field position because Pack right now is only at his own 40-yard line on the other end. Now the officials are going to have a little chat here. Linesman and our referee, Ken Williamson. That's Malzahn saying, I don't know how we didn't have more time. At any rate, it's time to punt. Low snap. Pack might have a shot at this one. from the 40. Heads to the near sideline. Got about 10. Another flag down on this punt return.
Just seems like every time we have a special teams play, we have a penalty. I don't think the penalty was on. There was one great block that Ole Miss had. DeMarcus Gates, number 31, had a great block. I don't think that was the penalty.
During the return, blocking the back, receiving team, number 3. 10-yard penalty, follow the foul. First down.
That's C.J. Hampton, a safety, number 3.
So there goes the good field position we were talking about.
There's the bad block, and here comes the good block.
Good unless you're the Auburn player who just took it in the chin. Still not bad there, only back at their 31, but they would have been at midfield. As Bo Wallace brings out his offense. Last time they had it, took him 35 seconds to go 74 yards. Bo doing 59 of that himself. And then he found Laquan Treadwell for the 10-yard touchdown. 3:25 remaining in the half. Wallace play action, pumps once, and he's going to go down. Sacked.
Blackson again, I think. That's the second time he's been in the backfield. Laramie Tunsil with the towel around his neck and the beanie cap on. Not going to see him the rest of the evening.
So second down and 13 coming up now. Only thing Ole Miss doesn't want to do is make any kind of turnover mistake right here, because with less than 3 minutes in the half, I think they'd be happy with 14-7. They'd love more, but just don't make a mistake down here. And with that, they run the ball, and they got about a yard.
Well, and you play to your strength. The strength of your team is your defense. They've settled into the game. They've settled into defending this Auburn offense. You're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. There's just no reason to do anything foolish here, even on this third down play. If that means run it or scramble it, if you're Bo Wallace, again, end every possession with a kick if you're a quarterback.
Let's see if they'll put it up. Third down and 11. 3 receivers to the near side here for Wallace. He will throw. Nope, he won't throw. Goes down at the 21. Wisely, I think, saw that there was nothing there, and Chris Frost, one of our impact players, comes up with a sack.
Well, one of the problems, again, the last few weeks for this Auburn defense is their inability to create a pass rush. They bring 5 this time, and Frost is able to beat the back. Mathers kind of dove at his legs and missed him, and Frost came inside for the sack.
Chris's 3rd sack of the year. We mentioned he had an unbelievable game last week. 14 tackles against South Carolina. And there's what Todd's been talking about. Last year, they had D Ford and guys like that coming off the edge, and they could create things from the front 4 with 32 sacks. This season, only 14. And so we've got 1:48 remaining in the half. And we're at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. There's our home right there with our family. Cody up there behind. There's Bill Lamagnier. Dick Bossing, our statistician. Carly McCall, I beg your pardon. Clint Deans, Todd Blackledge, and whoever the guy is doing the play-by-play. At the 22. A 4th down and 19. So Gary Wunderlich is going to punt this time. He's the kicker. I think they got tired of the punter.
Yeah. It's not rugby season, I guess.
Quan Bray is back inside his 45-yard line. There we go. Regular punt. High spiral. Bray takes it at the 39. And only about a 3-yard return. 1:36 before halftime. That's when Reese and the guys will be coming along. Let's check in with him right now.
Brad Buick halftime report. #1 Mississippi State on ESPN2 in a much tougher fight than perhaps they thought. Dak Prescott hobbling around a little bit. Arkansas has the lead. Get you up to date. A TCU West Virginia classic again between those now Big 12 rivals. And the Florida-Georgia game had never been a party, cocktail or otherwise, for Will Muschamp until today.
Yeah, I'm sure Will's feeling pretty good. Needed that one today. Kind of messed up the season for Georgia, though. Nick Marshall, again, firing long. Out there in double coverage, and he got it to Sammy Coates for the touchdown. throw it as far as you can and hope that Coates can run under it, and that's what happened.
Gus Malzahn wisely called timeout to set up after the third down stop to save some time. He didn't know he wasn't going to need time because he was going to score on the first play, but set that up to give his offense a chance to score before halftime, and Nick Marshall with a big-time throw.
Carlson's point after is good. So a couple of minutes ago we said we thought Ole Miss would be happy to be up 14-7 at halftime. They're not going to be after this play.
Sammy Coates working on Golson, a little double move, little stutter step. Now Golson's in position. He's reading it, and he makes a play on the ball, but he misses. And Sammy Coates is able to maintain his concentration and make the catch.
Sammy was the big play guy for this team last year. He averaged over 21 yards a catch with 7 touchdowns. That one good for 57 yards.
Golson is in position, makes a play, and misses. And Sammy Coates with a huge catch. Nick Marshall bought some time. He scrambled out a little bit and then heaved that thing down to Sammy Coates.
Nick's 12th scoring toss of the year. He just reared back and let that baby fly as far as he could. Sammy Coates has tied it up. Here's the comparisons against Ole Miss last year and tonight. 5 out of 8, 111, a touchdown and an interception. And as Todd said earlier, rushed for 140, averaged 10 yards a carry to get those 2 touchdowns on the ground last year.
Now the addition of Duke Williams to this offense has made it a little different offense. They still want to run first and throw second, but they've got 2 big-time receivers on the perimeter in Williams and Sammy Coates, and Coates just came up big on that one.
And this one won't be returned. It'll be interesting to see what Ole Miss does offensively now with 1:24 remaining in the half. Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Texas Motor Speedway with the second race of the Eliminator round. Win and you clinch a spot in the championship. NASCAR Chase for the Sprint Cup at Texas, presented by Federated Auto Parts. It's tomorrow at 2 Eastern on ESPN and watch ESPN. So from the 25, did they do anything different here, Todd?
No, I don't think so. If you get 1 first down, then maybe you get a little aggressive. You got all 3 of your timeouts. But if you don't get a first down, there's no point in taking a risk here.
Ole Miss, this is better than their normal starting position. And Bo Wallace got a nice block again. And here's the quarterback. There's the first down play.
Yeah. See, now I think you get a little bit more aggressive. You're out closer to midfield. You got a first down. You have all 3 timeouts, a designed quarterback run. And Bo Wallace doing a nice job running the football so far in the first half.
Bo's going to mess around and end up with a 100-yard night on the ground. We talk about Nick Marshall being able to do it with regularity. And Bo's had a 63-yard night so far. First down at the 38. Blitz coming. Wallace throws. Got it complete. Going to be close to another first down. Evan Engram, the tight end, is about a yard shy, but they've still got 1:12 to play with and all their timeouts.
Engram is a versatile guy. I mean, he's listed as a tight end, but he's really a big wide receiver. They use him in a lot of different ways, line him up in a lot of different spots. Very good wide receiver skills with a little bit of a bigger body.
Second and a yard. Auburn brings up 2 extra guys
showing man
on the
coverage.
defensive line.
Showing blitz, showing man coverage. Check from the sidelines for Ole Miss. Let's see if Auburn stays in that defense or backs out.
Looks like they're backing out of it. Going to be a quick throw out in the flat, though. Complete to Cody Core. He got the first down, but he slipped over there. And Jonathan Ford made sure he wasn't going any further anyway, but they'll move the sticks. Just on the Ole Miss side of the 50. First down. Wallace keeps this one too and only got a yard.
Probably call timeout right now.
With 53 seconds remaining, they will. And Bo will have a chance to come over and talk to Coach Freeze.
Again,
You're thinking about maybe a field goal. Gary Wunderlich's long this year. It was 46 yards. That was against Alabama in one of the biggest wins ever, I guess, for Ole Miss in their history. Sure brought the goalpost down anyway.
Now, I would think, you know, he's probably capable of that, but on a night like this, with the colder weather, the ball's a little bit different. Maybe is not going to travel the same way as on a warmer night. I'd say they'd probably need to get a little bit closer to that, be confident with Wonderlic at this point.
Let's say get down to the 30 maybe. Right now they're just thinking about picking up another first down because they've got 2 timeouts to work with, and 53 seconds is really an eternity if you have good clock management.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I'm hungry for pizza. So Wallace brings it back out at the 49-yard line. 2nd down and 9.
Well, Ingram and Treadwell are the guys to keep an eye on. Treadwell at the bottom of the screen. Ingram in the slot right here.
Wallace set to throw, in trouble, and down he goes. That's the one thing they didn't want to happen. And the ball came out at the end, but he was stopped. Forward progress, it was blown dead.
Well, Devontae Lambert is the guy who got there. He worked on Robert Conyers, the right tackle. Watch the top of your screen. Number 86 goes right around Robert Conyers, and then the pocket collapsed inside as well. And a much different looking Auburn pass rush so far tonight. Again, Laramie Tunsil not in the ball game, their best offensive lineman, but a better pass rush for the Tigers.
3rd and 18. Long ball on the sideline. Man's there and dropped. Sanders flagged down. Will be pass interference.
Not a bad penalty for Auburn because it's 15 yards, but not like the NFL where it would be at the spot of the foul and definitely in field goal range at that point for Ole Miss.
Defense number 6. The penalty is 15 yards with previous spot and includes an automatic first down.
See, this is just one of those things with Bo Wallace. His arm is not quite good enough to get that ball, drive it down the field. He has Sanders open. If he throws that out in front of Sanders, it's probably a touchdown because he had beaten Mincy on the play. But Bo Wallace just not quite able to get the ball all the way down the field, and it was underthrown.
Tonight, the season high in penalty yards. It does get Ole Miss to the 44-yard line, though. They need about 15 more yards to give their field goal kicker a shot. And they rip it down the field, and they've got it right there at the 30 to Cody Core.
Still have 2 timeouts. Clock stops to move the chains. That was a nice throw by Bo Wallace. Stepped up in the pocket.
5 seconds. So they're going to give their field goal unit a shot. And this is where I said they had to get it to give him basically the same kind of kick he had against Alabama.
They got the penalty for pass interference and then a beautiful throw by Bo Wallace stepping up in the pocket and driving that in route.
Gary Wonderlic will come out to try a field goal. See if Auburn will call a timeout before the kick. Wonderlic, a true freshman out of Memphis. A year ago, he was kicking high school footballs, and he did have a 51-yarder back in high school, but this is a little bit different. This is the SEC West, and it's number 3 against number 4.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there wasn't 63,000 people at his high school games. Well, this would be a nice gift right now if Ole Miss can get 3 before the break. Will Denny will snap it. Ryan Buchanan will hold. And Gary Wonderlic will try a 47-yard field goal. Kick on the way. That is going to be something good to take to the locker room. It's good. 17-14. Hugh Free's team has the halftime lead, and he's with Holly.
Well, Coach Freeze, your quarterback has 64 yards rushing in this first half. Why have you used him as more of a rushing weapon tonight?
Really, I hadn't. He's scrambling. I mean, it really hadn't even been any called runs, really, other than one. We had one run called run. The rest of them been him, when that clock goes off in his head, him using his feet.
He made another good decision right there. It feels like that was what you were trying to do at the end of the LSU game, make a throw to get in field goal position. How proud are you that he actually executed that for this half?
Well, he's doing what he's done all year with the exception of that game. He just, and he's staying within himself. And proud of all of them. Hey, we gave up that big pass there. That they got such weapons, it's they're going to get some of those. But real proud of our kids right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
They get a big kick to take to the locker room. They'll get the ball to start the third quarter. 17-14 right now. Ole Miss leading at home as we send it to Reese, Lou, and Mayday. And the Buick halftime report. Fellas. Auburn comes to town to take on the 4th-ranked Rebels. He's going to keep it straight up the middle. Good enough to get to the end zone. Touchdown, Auburn. Wallace under center. The pitch to Mathers. Trying to get to the corner. Got a block. Touchdown. Here they come with some pressure right now. Bo got out of it. Fakes it. Heading down the sideline. First down and a whole bunch more. Wallace throws a screen to Treadwell. Giving it back to number 1 for the touchdown. Nick Marshall firing long. Out there in double coverage. And he got it to Sammy Coates for the touchdown. Kick on the way. That is going to be something good to take to the locker room. And we welcome you back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The SEC on ESPN in a great spot. Oxford, Mississippi, just about set to start the third quarter, and the hometown Rebels have got the lead. 17-14 is our halftime score. Welcome back to Vaught Hemingway, everybody. Brad Nessler and Todd Blackledge along with Holly Rowe and partner. You get to this point in the SEC season, you know that the yards and the points are going to be hard to come by. You look at these stats next door here, and you don't want as many penalty yards almost as you have passing yards, but it's been hard fought all the way through the 2 quarters.
It has been hard fought. There have been a couple surprises. Probably the biggest surprise, the pass rush Auburn's been able to generate. They've got 3 sacks in the first half, only 12 coming into the ball game. Ole Miss doing okay without Laramie Tunsil, their best offensive lineman. They've got the lead. We talked about the 2 markers. First down plays, Auburn's had a slight edge. Turnovers, Ole Miss has the 1 turnover they forced, so that's why the game is pretty even right now.
Field position has been Auburn's favor so far, too. They're going to kick off to start the third quarter.
See if we can have a special teams play without a penalty yet.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've only had 1 tonight, and that was a punt return that didn't have 1, and we were a little bit shocked. Carlson to kick, and Walton and Mark Dotson back deep to start the third quarter. A yard deep for Jalen Walton, and let's check in with Holly.
Well, I spoke with Gus Malzahn at the half, and he said what he's noticed about Ole Miss is they're starting to bring more pressure when they're on offense. He said we've got to do a better job gapping them up, finding those creases in our rushing attack, and do a better job running the football. But he's really upset about the 10 penalties for 105 yards. They're only averaging about 7 per game, so that is a huge deal. I said, hey, did you address that with the guys in the locker room? And he said, oh, yeah.
I'm sure he did. So Ole Miss will start at the 25-yard line. Their first possession here to open the third. Vince Sanders in motion, got an end around. Cody Core, his quarterback's out there with him, and Cody Core is all the way to the 45-yard line. A native of and a flag at the end.
Well, so much for that talk at halftime, huh?
Yeah.
Well-designed play, great coming out of the locker room, something they talked about. We're going to start the third quarter.
Personal foul. Defense number 24. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Derek Moncrief with a personal foul.
And just a foolish penalty. I mean, there's no need for it. The play's over. It's out of bounds.
The ball is placed.
You got whipped on the first play. Just no need for it. Wasn't much, but it was about 6 yards out of bounds.
Cody Core, one of our impact players, an Auburn, Alabama native, has lost his mom this past summer. His dad here, Thad, is at the game tonight. And a big impact, his run plus the 15, has Ole Miss at the 36-yard line already. Mathers, whew, he got planted by Casanova McKenzie.
That's what you call form tackle right there.
Sure was.
Hit, wrap up, drive through.
Big middle linebacker, 250 pounds. There's the numbers on Bo Wallace tonight.
Has really played within himself. Has shown that poise that he had all season until last week.
Auburn was showing the possibility of a blitz from McKenzie. Let's see if they step out of that as Wallace steps into the gun on 2nd and 12. They keep it on the ground, and Mathers inside the 35. Jamel President made the tackle. Pick up a 5. Nice to have a president on your staff. So the first third down here on this opening drive of the third quarter.
Ole Miss looks a little confused, not sure what personnel they want. They had a late substitution. Now it looks like they've got it figured out.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers, 3 to the near side, and now Cody Core goes and joins Wallace. They fake it to him. The screen is out to Treadwell. Made one move and still going, but he's going to be short of the first down by about 2.
Well, they caught Auburn in a blitz, and it looked like it was going to be a good play to convert for the first down. I think Treadwell maybe got a little too fancy on that one, a little too much dancing, moving back towards the inside instead of just getting that thing straight up the field.
Ole Miss wants to go for it, and their coach says, green light, here we go, 4th and 2. 6 out of 10 on the year on 4th down conversions for Ole Miss.
A lot of times Ole Miss's play action pass on these short yardage situations. They're not a real power running team.
It's Wallace trying to do it himself. He's going to be short. Auburn's going to take over on downs. He's about a yard shy. It wasn't that they weren't in field goal range, because that was the same spot they got the field goal before halftime, but they choose to go on 4th down here, and Bo Wallace comes up short.
Well, that's a really great play by Elijah Daniel, number 97. He fought through the block. He maintained outside arm leverage and was there to make the tackle on Bo Wallace.
Now they're going to bring the sticks out. I didn't think it was even close.
Elijah Daniel, a backup defensive end, 6'2" sophomore out of Indianapolis, Indiana, made an outstanding play there.
Well, the officiating crew, I think, just wants to be better safe than sorry here on a key 4th down, and it's at least a yard.
Yeah.
It's more than that, actually.
Big time play by Daniel. I think they blew it on 3rd down, though. I think Treadwell got a little bit too fancy trying to turn that screen into a bigger play than it needed to be instead of getting upfield to convert the first down. And a big stop for the Auburn defense here to start the third quarter.
So they take over on downs with 12:14 remaining in the third. And we said yards and points at a premium. And the 2 yards they needed on 4th down, they only got 1. And now it's 120 penalty yards, and that is more than their passing game and almost as much as what they've rushed for tonight. But they take over the 28-yard line. Cameron Artis-Payne fighting his way for 4. C.J. Johnson at the first hit, and then Cody Pruitt from the secondary brought him down, and he lost his shoe, so he'll have to head to the sideline, and that'll bring out either Corey Grant or Rock Thomas. It'll be Corey Grant. Rock Thomas actually limped off earlier, and there he is on the sideline. We're not sure if we'll see him or not. 2nd down and 6. Throw out in the flat. What a nice open field tackle out there by Mike Hilton on Ricardo Lewis.
Well, the last time that we were here doing an Ole Miss game, Dave Womack said, that's my best football player, Mike Hilton. He's the one guy that we cannot afford to lose. He's just good against the run, good against the pass, very smart football player, diagnosed that play, ran right through the attempted block of Duke Williams for a negative yardage play, bringing up 3rd and long.
3rd down and 8. Tonight, they've had longer 3rd downs than they've had most of the season, and part of that's due to that Landshark defense of the Rebels. And here they come after Marshall. Nick throws on the run into a whole bunch of traffic. That's caught, but it's out of bounds.
Well, what a great pass rush that time by Marquise Haynes, number 27. I thought he was close to being offsides. He got such a quick jump. He ripped right around the right tackle. It wasn't even close. I thought he was offsides. Then I thought he got held. The bottom line was he forced a throw out of bounds and a punt situation for Auburn.
One of our impact players on defense for Ole Miss comes in 3rd in the conference in sacks and almost had one there. Forces Daniel Carlson to punt, and that's Markel Pack back deep.
An unusually struggling night for Auburn on 3rd down.
Yeah, there's another one of those lovely punts. That's going to go out of bounds, probably at midfield. Let's see, they're still walking it up. Here we go.
Wow.
At the 50.
It has not been a stellar night for punters, that's for sure. Well, Ole Miss with the ball for the second time in the third quarter. Laquan Treadwell, his presence has been felt tonight as a blocker more than a receiver. Outstanding job blocking on the perimeter. This Bo Wallace scramble about an extra 20 yards thanks to Treadwell getting 2 blocks, 4 catches for 32 yards and this 1 touchdown. But his presence has been felt all over the field, and I would expect that Ole Miss will try to get the ball in his hands in this possession with this outstanding field position to start the drive.
After another horrible punt, they start at midfield. First down, Ole Miss with a field goal lead. Core in motion to the top. Wallace, quick throw, completes it. Evan Ingram, the tight end, foot race. He wins it. Touchdown. Evan Ingram 50 yards after the throw from Wallace.
Well-designed play out of a bunch type formation and poorly played by Jonathan Ford, the safety.
They've had some quick scoring drives, 1 of 2 plays in the first half, and now 1 play and 50 yards. And Evan Ingram, second team All-SEC a year ago, showing why. The tight end weaving his way through the secondary all the way to the end zone. 24-14 Rebels.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind.
Halloween weekend. There's the Ghostbusters. Well, the tight end just busted one for 50 yards, and he's on the bike pedaling. He was pedaling his way through that secondary of Auburn to give them, the Rebels, a 10-point lead.
Oh, he had no catches a week ago down in Baton Rouge, and he's just too valuable of a weapon and too versatile of a guy in this offense to be shut out. Big-time catch right there.
His biggest game of the year was against Vanderbilt, 7 catches for 120. Kick goes to the 10-yard line to Corey Grant. And Grant out to the 27 as Todd takes us back to the scoring toss.
Well, Laquan Treadwell is going to clear out the area. Here's Treadwell. He's going to run an out route. Ingram's going to run right in here and curl. And then I want you to see what happens. A couple bad reactions by 2 defenders. Linebacker, safety are both going to take bad angles to the ball and miss a tackle on Ingram. He sits down and splits right between 2 unblocked defenders and takes it all the way to the end zone. Good execution by Ole Miss, poor execution by Auburn's defense.
At the 27, that ball is batted in the air, incomplete. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Marquise Haynes, I think, is the guy who was in the vicinity anyway. That was him. He almost caught that thing. He raised havoc the last time we were here. He was all over the field.
Really caused problems for Tennessee. They had a makeshift offensive line. This is a much better offensive line, but he's so fast and explosive. That first step. Plus, you have the crowd noise working.
Marshall under center, pitches to Grant, trying to get to the edge. Not going to get there. Defense is all over him and drops him for a loss.
Tony Connor, the first one to get there, and that's the kind of defense this defense is built to be like. 4-2-5, a lot of speed on the field. They're normally really good against perimeter runs. They maintain leverage and they fly to the football. That's Landshark defense at its finest right there. And another 3rd and long for Auburn.
3rd down, 11.
Because Ole Miss has played well on first down, they've forced Auburn into a lot of tough 3rd downs.
They fake. They end around. Marshall's in trouble. Throws on the run. Got a man wide open. Inside the 40, it's Duke Williams. Huge play on 3rd and 11.
Well, this is all Nick Marshall. He gets away from Kimdichie. Kimdichie had him dead to rights. Watch number 5. Spins out, has him, but again, the slippery one. He just eludes people and then finds Duke Williams downfield for a big throw.
41 yards later, it's first down at the 33. Back to Artis Payne, and Payne's got an opening 10 yards before they bring him down. In fact, give him almost 12.
Now
boy, you talk about taking the crowd right out of things again.
They had him pinned back, and now all of a sudden, here's Auburn knocking on the door.
Right now, the door is just inside the 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Artis Payne again gets around the corner and gets 11 more.
See, that's 2 plays in a row where Cameron Artis Payne has gotten the ball on the perimeter, but the play's designed to go inside, and he pops it out. And that's what catches the Ole Miss defense. It's not a designed perimeter play. He bounces it outside and gets extra yardage.
They can actually get a first down inside the 1. Artis Payne's done all the work. He's still doing the work down to that first down marker. See where they spot it. We got a guy down.
It just
I think it's Serdarius Bryant. I'm not sure.
Well, that would be a big loss now, because that's the same position that Denzel Kimdichie plays. And Serdarius Bryant was going to have to play a lot more snaps tonight than normal without Kimdichie. So we'll see how Ole Miss will have to substitute around that.
Serdarius Bryant, despite the fact he's not the biggest guy in the world, was second team All SEC a year ago. There's Denzel Kimdichie out with the broken ankle. And Serdarius is up and
looks to be favoring that left side of some sort.
Meanwhile, the ball is put just outside the 1-yard line. It's second down and about 2 feet to go.
Well, it just seems like this Ole Miss defense is reeling still after that 3rd down conversion. And Auburn just punching him in the mouth.
Just outside the 1. It's Nick Marshall all alone. Never went down. Touchdown, Auburn. Boy, way to answer a drive after that long touchdown that Ole Miss had.
Well, Nick Marshall shows his ability again. Just slips right through a tackle of Brian Bennett, number 95. Follows his guard, Chad Slade, into the end zone. But you got to go back to the conversion on 3rd down when he got away from Kimdichie and found an open Duke Williams off the scramble to keep the drive alive.
Extra point is good with 8.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. We've got everything we expected and then some. Second rushing touchdown for Nick Marshall. He had 3 a week ago. He just capped a 73-yard drive in just a little over 2 minutes from a yard out, and it's 24-21. The slippery one, as Todd calls him, has just made it 24-21. The biggest play on that 73-yard drive was 3rd and 11, Todd.
Well, here's Duke Williams, and he's going to run a deep crossing route. This is Chief Brown, the backup safety who's been out with a torn Achilles. This is his first game back. He's in for Trey Elston. He's going to stumble on this crossing route. Kind of gets tripped up and is not able to stay with Duke Williams, and that's what Nick Marshall saw when he scrambled, was a wide open Duke Williams, but it was the slip by Chief Brown that really opened up that play down the field.
Three-point game with 8:30 to go, 3rd quarter. And again, they let the kick go. They'll bring it out to the 25. We'll take it out to Reese Davis.
All right, Brad, get you up to date on a couple of games. First, Tennessee and South Carolina. It's on the SEC Network, tied at 14. Look at the time, under 20 seconds to go in the half, and Josh Dobbs of the Big Orange going in to give Tennessee the lead on the road. Volunteers have yet to win a conference game. Neither has Arkansas, but on a 4th and 1 against number 1 Mississippi State, the Pigs stopped Dak Prescott, and they continue to lead by 3. It's on ESPN2.
Wow, keep us posted on that one, Reese, here. 24-21. Jordan Wilkins in the ball game in the backfield for Ole Miss for the first time tonight. Bo Wallace looks like he might be a little bit confused here. Down to 4-3 on the play clock. Play action. And again, that whole play didn't look right for some reason. So Bo just keeps it himself, gets it back to the line of scrimmage.
In a game like this, you just can't afford wasted plays either. You know, it's just too tight. Every possession counts. And you get a wasted play on first down.
It's been a good Bo night so far, though.
Yep, it has been. He's played within himself. He's played with poise. He's made good decisions. He's been a good leader.
2nd down and 10. On the option, the pitch to Wilkins. A lot of white jerseys there. He only got about a yard as we check in with Holly.
Just before they took the field, this Auburn defense, Chris Frost gathered the guys together. He was screaming at guys to get off the bench and gather as teammates. He started yelling, "This is an elimination game. We have had bust after bust after bust. This is it. The offense is doing their job. It's time we did ours."
First time we've heard a player say it's an elimination game. I like that. 3rd down and 8. Wallace down the middle, snatched by Treadwell. 1st down.
Well, we say the same thing about Duke Williams as we can say about Treadwell. Big-bodied receiver, so he gets leverage on a defender with his size and strength, and then just goes and grabs the football out of the air. That's a difficult matchup, single coverage.
Now they go to the ground and not going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Frost, who Holly just talked about, is the first guy on Jordan Wilkins. You know, talking about Treadwell, we're talking to him the other day, and we mentioned obviously the loss a week ago, and I said, how'd you come back from that? He said, I took it as a learning experience. I said, what'd you learn? He said that every play you've got to make your play and do your job, and he's done it with blocks tonight and with the catches he's made. So he's making every play count on this particular night. 2nd down and 10. Play action. Wallace getting some heat, and they're going to trap him and knock him down from behind. Montravius Adams with the sack, 4th of the night.
Yeah, 4th sack for Auburn. Coming into the game, only 12. So if there's been one real silver lining tonight for the Auburn defense, it's been the resurgence of a pass rush. They haven't had it the last couple weeks against Mississippi State or South Carolina. They've had it tonight.
This is another spot where you got to be careful. 3rd down and 14. Auburn showing that they might bring some pressure. Empty backfield for Bo Wallace.
That has to be a fake. There's no reason to blitz here.
Quick throw, incomplete. Whoop, and a hit at the end of the play. And no flag. McKenzie gave Sanders a pop after the pass was incomplete.
Kind of a zone blitz. They showed it. They brought a couple guys, dropped some other guys out. A little close to being after the whistle.
That could have been a late hit, don't you think? Wonderlic will punt. Quan Bray trying to get everybody out of the way. And wow, what a great roll. And it stays in bounds. It's going all the way to the 4-yard line. That ball might make the 1 if they blow on it a little bit. 58-yard punt. We've been waiting for a good punt tonight. We just got one. Look at this thing. You think it's going to go out of bounds right there. Takes a funny hop and just keeps on rolling.
Good work by Mike Hilton, too. I mean, he was just tracking that thing for about the last 15 yards.
All the way inside the 4-yard line. Not exactly where Auburn had planned on starting this offensive set. Artis Payne and Marshall will be in their own end zone.
Well, can the Ole Miss defense keep them there? Big question right here.
Quick throw, completes, and that gives him not only a 1st down, but some room to work. He got it out to Quan Bray and a pickup of 11.
What a confident throw by Nick Marshall. Right hash mark in your own end zone, throwing to the left sideline. No hesitation at all.
Another quick throw to Bray coming the other way. Looking for a block. Shoved out of bounds at the 20.
Yeah, and just like that, in 2 plays, they're out past the 20-yard line. You know, you have them pinned back there. You think you might be able to get them into a conservative play call, and 2 passes in a row, and they're out to the 20.
They average almost 500 yards of total offense per game, 497 to be exact. Second down and 5 at the 20. 27 runs and 14 passes so far tonight. There's a run by Marshall this time. Stiff arm. He got close. About 2 feet shy of the first down.
Well, Isaac Gross had the back on this. You got to account for the back and the quarterback. They had the back taken care of. But the slippery one eludes about 3 blue shirts and gets this thing right close to a first down. 3rd and less than a yard.
One of those plays is what they hope will pick up a first down. 3rd and 1. Straight ahead. Artis Payne busts into the secondary. Easily has the first down with another great run out to the 37.
Auburn going to try to line up and go with some pace. Typical power play. They pull the backside guard, Danzy, and an easy conversion on 3rd down.
Artis Payne has had about 4 carries tonight that have gone for over 10 yards. This one's going negative yardage. And Gross makes a play again on him right there as we check in with Holly.
Well, safety Trey Alston of Ole Miss was injured right before the half. They were examining his neck and head area, trying to get him to do some balance tests. But he's come out of the locker room in street clothes, guys. I've seen different guys back there. We saw number 8, but I also seen number 19, Derek Jones, in. They've got a lot of swapping going in that backfield.
Yeah, it's mostly Chief Brown, as Todd talked about earlier. Marshall, quick throw. Wide open out there is Sammy Coates, and he's got another first down.
Wow, Cliff Coleman in coverage there, number 6. Not sure what he was doing. He was bailing out on that route. Just way too much cushion. That's a no-brainer throw if you're a quarterback. If that coverage is off and he's bailing and it's a little hitch route, boy, you take as many no-brainers as you can get in a game like this.
Artis Payne. He's had some tough runs tonight. We're under 4 minutes, and Auburn on the move. They started inside their own 4-yard line, and they've now worked it into Ole Miss territory.
Coming into the game, Auburn averaged 6.7 yards every first down play. When they do that, this offense is almost impossible to stop.
They got 6 on that one, and they got the first down on the 2nd-yard run by Artis Payne.
The only chance you have of slowing this offense down is getting some negative plays or 0 plays on first down. If you don't, and they stay on schedule, again, with the running ability of Marshall and the deception of their zone read stuff, almost impossible to stop.
You saw their head coach saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. He wants it as fast as possible. Here comes his fast quarterback, Marshall. Got a block from Bray. Nick Marshall inside the 20 before he's run out of bounds.
Nick Marshall is going to read the end man. They crash in. That was Shackelford. He read Shackelford's movement too far inside and pulled the ball out and got the ball on the perimeter himself.
14 yards to the 18 on first down. Throw out to Quan Bray, who just threw that block for him. And he only got about 2 before Sinquez Golson made the stop. And Duke Williams, I think, wants a breather. They switch up some wide receivers, get some fresh bodies in there. They're still going as fast as they can. 2nd down and 9.
Well, Auburn changed, and now Ole Miss's defense trying to change. A lot of chess match going on right now.
Marshall fires, got a man for the touchdown, and it's Marcus Davis. Nobody out there on him.
Yeah, it's a wheel route. It's a post by the outside receiver, a wheel route by the inside receiver, and nobody, and I mean nobody, goes with him. Outside receiver goes in, the wheel route to the end zone, and nobody at home for the Ole Miss defense.
What a drive, 96 yards. Carlson in for the point after. Up and good. The second time tonight that the Auburn Tigers have had the lead now. 11 plays. They went the length of the field in 3 minutes, 46 seconds. And Marshall connects with Davis. It's 28-24 Tigers. Top 10 obviously dominated by the SEC in the rankings that came out on Tuesday. And here's the remaining look. The SEC West schedules. Right now Mississippi State, the last we heard from Reese, is trailing Arkansas. We talked about Auburn, Texas A&M and Georgia yet to come, and then Alabama in the Iron Bowl. The Egg Bowl with Mississippi State's last on the schedule for Ole Miss. And now, after leading twice and being tied twice, now the Auburn Tigers have the lead for the second time. And obviously everybody wants to get a crack at being national champion. Well, it's elimination time for the most part, we expect. Can't say that for sure. But you don't want a second loss. Somebody tonight's going to have one. Carlson is not allowed a return. They'll bring it out to the 25. That last drive by Auburn covered the length of the field.
Well, and it was Nick Marshall. How confident are they in Nick Marshall? First play of this drive, backed up from his right hash, throws to the left sideline, complete to get him out of the shadow of their own end zone. Then later in the drive, he runs it, calls his own number on the read play for a nice pickup. And then the touchdown that caught the Ole Miss defense in a miscommunication. He finds the open man. They go right down the field after the beautiful kick by Wunderlich. Ole Miss defense can't keep him hemmed in, and Nick Marshall executing at a high level.
Now let's see if the Rebels have an answer. First down from the 25. Octavius Mathers, and Mathers broke a tackle. Mathers down the sideline. He's into Auburn territory.
The best running play of the night for Ole Miss on a straight run play. Mathers a little slow getting up at the end of the play. Good blocking on the outside. They pull the guards. Aaron Morris, Justin Bell on the pull also, and Mathers gets the perimeter. And a nice gain on first down for the Ole Miss offense.
All the way to the 41-yard line. Mathers comes out. Dodson goes in for him. And now the shovel pass on the inside, and it's the tight end, Evan Engram, who's got a 50-yard touchdown catch tonight. And Mathers, they're still
I think it's
attending to him.
Yeah, I think he, at the end of that play, I think he just got his bell rung. It was a great run, but a strong collision at the end of the play.
Engram got 8, second down and 2 at the 33. Ole Miss trying to answer Auburn's touchdown with one of their own as we're down to a minute remaining in the third quarter. Wallace changes things up. And on second and 2, fires in the middle, and that one should have been caught by Treadwell, and he knows it.
Yeah, he was looking to that blue instead of keeping his eyes on the brown. He took his eyes off the ball and started looking towards the end zone and didn't secure the catch, and you just don't see that very much. He is about as sure-handed of a guy as you're going to see.
That is the only thing he hasn't done well tonight. And it's third down and 2. Ole Miss 3 out of 9 on the night on third down.
Play clock down inside of 4.
Got a hustle. Wallace in trouble. Throws late. Treadwell made the catch. He's got the first down. He didn't drop that one.
No, made up for it. Made up for the drop on second down with a big catch and run after the catch on third. Big body, big target, And this time he got north and south, went right up the field. Remember that screen pass a few possessions ago? He tried to get a little too fancy. That time, knew what he needed for the first down and got it done.
1st and 10 at the 27 with a half minute remaining in the third. They empty the backfield. Bo Wallace, I don't know if he was going to call his own number on purpose or not, but he's dropped.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a quarterback draw, I think. But it was such a fast rush off the edge by Ladarius Owens that Bo Wallace just couldn't get started. He couldn't get into the play.
And Bo's limping a little bit right now as the quarter will come to a close. He'll have a chance to shake it off as he lost 6 on that play. Number 3 and number 4 playing in Oxford. Each have 1 loss. Somebody's got 15 more minutes to try to keep it that way. End of 3. Auburn 28. Ole Miss 24. Saturday night football, primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. We start the 4th quarter. 28-24, Auburn in front. A big loss on that last play of the 3rd quarter of 6 as push the Rebels back to the 32-yard line as we start the 4th. Wallace play action. The slant. Got it. Complete. Ingram. The tight end is inside the 5. Shaken up on the end of the play, but a 30-yard reception.
Well, the fake fooled one linebacker and held the other linebacker just long enough to allow Bo Wallace to get the ball to Ingram. McKenzie was fooled by the fake to the back, and the backside linebacker Frost froze just enough for Ingram to get the football. Well-designed play and a conversion on 2nd and long.
Ingram, a 100-yard night. He comes out shaken up a little bit. Nicholas Parker comes in to take his spot. 1st and goal. Ole Miss trying to regain the lead. Bo Wallace. Did he get there? Ball comes out at the end. He's in. Touchdown.
Well, this looks just like an Auburn play. Fake the jet sweep, pull the backside guard, and follow him right in there. A design quarterback keep, and Bo Wallace with a couple big throws and a big run at the end of the drive to pull back in front for Ole Miss. I'm going to take a look at this to see if his knee was down before the ball crossed the plane.
We'll get another look. Wallace from 3 yards out. It would be his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. Here's another angle.
Yeah, I think that's a touchdown. Just has to cross the plane, break the plane.
The knee was touching down, but the ball had already crossed.
Yep.
At least from what we can see. This might be the most definitive. Ooh, and it's close. Bill Lamagnier, what do you think?
I think we'll see a play stance is called. I think you're right. The ball's just probably breaking the plane when the knee hits. Definitely the fumble occurred after he was down or scored, so that's not an issue.
Okay. Boy, for a kid that had so many problems in Baton Rouge last week, he has played brilliantly.
Well, and for him, it's all about playing within himself, not trying to do too much, not trying to win the game on one play. It's playing within the framework of the offense.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
The lead changes hands again. Wunderlich in to try to make it a field goal difference here early in the 4th quarter. Snap was a little wide, but the kick is true. Again, his tight end has been huge tonight. And for Bo Wallace, this shot down the middle is what got them going.
Yeah, and they overcame the loss of 6 yards on first down. They came back. Bo Wallace threw it. Bo Wallace ran it. Ole Miss has the lead.
There's a national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. Gold, stainless steel, and bronze. This game has been golden so far. One of these teams wants to make the 4-team playoff at the end. The loser tonight probably won't have a shot. 14-26 to decide that. I don't think you want to go anywhere right now if you're watching this game.
Both offenses have responded so well when they've had to. They've had their moments when they sputtered a little bit, but when the other team has put pressure on them, they have responded in like kind.
They'll bring this one out to the 25. Gives us a chance to ask you our Aflac trivia question for the night. Ole Miss has already beaten a top 5 team this season. Number 3 Alabama. When's the last time they knocked off 2 Associated Press top 5 teams in the same season? Crowd getting fired up for the defense again right now. Coming into tonight, Ole Miss had not allowed anybody to score more than 20 points on them. Auburn's got 28, but Ole Miss has the lead back.
Well, one of the things that Ole Miss is missing is Trey Elston, who was their starting safety. So Mike Hilton, who is a starting corner, is now playing in the back end of the defense, and they have different guys in at corner. Right now, Kendarius Webster, number 15.
Artis Payne only got about a yard. Sir Darius Bryant submarined in there to make the stop. Artis Payne's over 100 yards again on the night.
But that's a win on first down for Ole Miss's defense. They haven't had many here the last few possessions. That one was a win on a 1-yard gain.
Second down and 9. Artis Payne with 108 yards on 17 carries. They fake it to him here. Marshall will throw it to him out in the flat, and he dropped it. Incomplete. Third down and 9.
Pretty good pressure on the inside. Isaac Gross with enough pressure to kind of bother that throw by Nick Marshall.
Vaught Hemingway Stadium is shaking right now on 3rd and 9. Blitz coming. Marshall throws off his back foot, and it's caught at the 35-yard line. He got away with another one, and it's Sammy Coates again. 39 yards on 3rd and long.
See, these big receivers can leverage themselves with their body, even though there's good coverage. Senquez Golson's as good a cover guy as there is in this league, but he's just not a big enough body to fight off Sammy Coates for the football on a play like that.
At the 33 now, first down. Artis Payne back on the ground, breaking tackles to the 20. Another 10-yard plus rush for Cameron Artis Payne tonight. And obviously Auburn's going to hustle, and with tempo, they've got a first down already at the 19-yard line of Ole Miss. This time, they'll stop him for a loss.
Well, Isaac Gross is having a heck of a night. He did not practice much this week, working through some issues physically. Out there tonight and playing extremely well. He's undersized for a defensive lineman, but very quick and disruptive. And he'll get a break here on 2nd down.
As you said, that's a win for Ole Miss's defense on that play, forcing 2nd down and 11. They fake the end around. Marshall's going to throw it out in the flat, though. Completes it to Ricardo Lewis, who cuts inside, and he's down around the 12. Pickup of 7 for Ricardo Lewis. And that makes it a 3rd and short here. A long 2 coming up. They bring in Braden Smith as an extra tight end blocker on 3rd and 2. See if Marshall does it himself. He will, trying to get to the sticks, and he will. First down. He needed 2 and he got 3.
He's just a hard guy to get on the ground. He just has a feel for running the football. It's a real knack. Knows how to break tackles, get away from people, knows when to bounce it outside, when to cut it up inside.
74% of the time in the red zone they score touchdowns, 3 out of 4 tonight. And they're at the 8-yard line, 1st and goal. Seems like literally 2 minutes ago that Ole Miss had taken the lead, and here's Auburn again threatening. Artis Payne, ooh, he took a shot after he got about a yard. Woodrow Hamilton, he laid the wood to him. Artis Payne's feeling that one right now, I can tell you. Maybe enough that he might want to come out.
Well, you know, and the problem is, you mentioned it earlier, Rock Thomas is not playing.
Thomas is out with an ankle, and he probably is not coming back.
Right, and Corey Grant is not as big or physical as either Artis Payne or Thomas.
They set it up in a hurry. The pitch to Artis Payne, and he's got enough energy to get to the end zone. Touchdown, Auburn. Six yards for the score, and the lead changes hands again.
Well, they went with a hurry-up snap, and they went unbalanced. They put an extra offensive tackle, Sean Coleman. They moved the left tackle over and had an extra lineman on that side and then quick snapped it. They kind of went with that quick huddle, came to the line of scrimmage, snapped it quick, and outflanked the Ole Miss defense.
Carlson in for the point after. Up and good. What a game. Artis Payne 129. The last 6 just gave the Tigers the lead back. 75-yard drive, 9 plays. What a way for Auburn to answer the Ole Miss touchdown. They've taken the lead back by 4.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. Feel the Hamptonality. And in part by Dish. Ask how to get the most football anywhere, only with the Hopper from Dish.
Ole Miss is the site. Auburn is the team in the lead. Again, 35-31. 10:23 remaining in the 4th quarter. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, our ESPN crew at Vaught Hemingway Stadium, where 62,090 are looking on, the 3rd largest crowd in this stadium's history. And now they're wondering if their team can come from behind one more time. Carlson has not given the return man any chances tonight. This time he might. Jalen Walton from 2 yards deep. And he goes down before he got to the 20. Let's take you back to the touchdown.
Well, some really interesting deception by Auburn. They get in a huddle, which they don't do a whole lot of. And then when they break the huddle, they're in an unbalanced line. This is a tight end lined up as a tackle. This is Sean Coleman, the tight end, or the tackle lined up as a tight end. So you have 2 offensive linemen next to each other. They outflank the Ole Miss defense. They go with the quick snap. And Cameron Artis Payne is able to get it into the end zone. A little trickeration there on the last play of the drive. An impressive touchdown drive for Auburn.
At the 18-yard line, Ole Miss with Bo Wallace on the snap, and the slant complete. Sanders broke a tackle. Then Sanders all the way out across the 40-yard line.
Boy, Bo Wallace had to throw that with an unblocked man coming right at him. Hung in there, showed some courage to stay in there and make that throw under duress.
And Walton's going to have to do the rest of the work in that backfield. Remember Mathers, who scored a touchdown earlier and had some other nice runs, out with what we think is a concussion. First down. And it's Wallace keeping it himself. Oh, man, he took one right in the chin from Chris Frost. And he's still standing, though. He pats Frost on the helmet.
And just even that. Remember last week he headbutted a guy.
Yeah.
He just was a little out of sorts down in Baton Rouge last week. Really nice to see the comeback that Bo Wallace has had tonight. Win or lose, he's played a really solid ball game for this Ole Miss offense.
And of course, that 55 yards. You said, how do you get 59 yards on one run? And he's only got 55 yards. Take the sack yardage away. Otherwise, he'd have had about 100 on the ground, including what he's done through the air. 2nd down and 4. And Aaron Morris, I think, is going to be the guilty guy, the left guard, on a false start.
Prior to snap, false start, offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
But 2nd down and long now. Two receivers to each side for Bo Wallace. On 2nd down and 9. Just inside the 43-yard line. Sidearm throw, got it out to Sanders again. He got a block. I don't know how he got through there, but he's still running.
Wow.
Then Sanders, 1st down.
Well, first of all, I don't know how Bo Wallace got the ball to him. Secondly, I have no idea how Sanders was able to get this and turn it into a positive play. This looked like it should have been swallowed up. Lots of white shirts. Nobody wraps up. And a 1st down for Ole Miss.
Sidearm, Brett Favre type throw, and Vince Sanders over 100. And more importantly, into Auburn territory at the 36-yard line. They hustle out a backup guard, and they're going to call timeout. They had somebody that was shaken up, and they tried to get Rod Taylor out there. I think he was late to the party, and they've got to take an all-important timeout right here. But it's an all-important drive as well. With 8:13 remaining, we'll see what Ole Miss can do when we come back.
Reese Davis with you, letting you know what's happening just down the road from Oxford in Starkville. Arkansas and #1 Mississippi State tied at 10. Dak Prescott's been hobbling around, and he finds Fred Ross by himself. 69 yards, he houses it, and the Bullies have their first lead of the night on ESPN2 with under 12 to play.
Dak Prescott, a couple interceptions tonight. Nonetheless, the big score there that Reese just told you about has given the Bulldogs the lead. Their brethren from here in Oxford trying to regain the lead over the Auburn Tigers.
Of course, the only loss for Auburn this year was in Starkville against Mississippi State.
1st and 10 at the 36. Wallace, quick throw out to Treadwell, trying to get a block. And he battles his way for about 2, and then about 6 yards out of bounds, he finally hits the turf. Pick up a 4 after all of that. And Rod Taylor is in at 1 guard spot. Morris came out. He's got his helmet back on as if he's coming back in the lineup.
Well, already down a tackle. No Laramie Tunsil in the ball game tonight. Now Aaron Morris, a starting guard, out.
Got to hustle to get the play off. They do. Quick slant into some traffic, incomplete. Broken up by Jonathan Mincy.
A little pressure on the inside by President that time. Big 3rd down play. You know, the way both offenses have moved and responded, you just get the feeling like one mistake by either offense is going to be the difference in the ball game.
I don't know if this is 2-down territory or not, but right now the Rebels need 6. They need to get it down to the 26 for a 1st down. Wallace fires to the sideline, caught by Treadwell. Cuts it back to the 15, 1st down, Ole Miss. I thought that was going to be too high, and he just went up and got it.
You know, he's a big receiver, and again, the big body, the leverage he gets on Mincy. Mincy tries to jump, but he can't get near the ball. because of how big Treadwell is. I mean, that's just a big-bodied receiver making a big boy play.
Ole Miss at the Auburn 15 with 7:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Seventh play of the drive. Here comes a blitz. Wallace fires. Wow, what a catch by Treadwell, short of the first down.
In the first half, Treadwell more of a blocker than a receiver. In the second half, with the game on the line, he is the go-to guy for Bo Wallace.
Second down and a yard. 3 catches on this drive alone. Wallace pulled it back down, and the ball came out at the end. Auburn says they have it. And they do. Bo Wallace was trying to backpedal for the yardage needed for the first down, and the ball came out before he landed.
And Derek Moncrief, number 24, I think is the guy that smacks it out. As Bo Wallace is he's trying to reach the ball towards the line, and Moncrief from behind him smacks the ball out.
A huge turnover gives Auburn the football back. And I think Bo cut his hand pretty bad in that pileup as well.
It looked like Bo Wallace from his back was going to try to reach the ball over his head towards the first down line and had it smacked out of his hands.
Auburn with the lead and the ball with 6.5 to go. Artis Payne straight up the middle out to the 11.
Well, and with that run, Auburn has now gone over 250 yards rushing for the ball game.
And they'll soon have 500 yards of offense. And the last time Ole Miss defense gave up that much yardage was October 12th of last year to Texas A&M. They gave up 587. So the stingy defense needs to make a play.
Yep. Since Gus Malzahn has been at Auburn, 250 is the magic number when it comes to running the football. Auburn 15-0 whenever they go over 250 yards. They're right at, what, 248 for the game right now?
Biggest third down of the night is at hand. Marshall, quick throw, high, tipped, caught.
Oh, my goodness.
Sammy Coates off the deflection of Sinquez Golson.
This was almost a touchdown for Ole Miss and another interception for Golson, who read it all the way. Instead, a critical third down conversion for Sammy Coates. Wow. A game of inches.
First and 10 for the Tigers. Just inside their own 18-yard line. We're down to 5:10 to play. Up by 4. They'd be comfortable just using the next 5 minutes and chewing it up. And here's Artis Payne out to the 20. Maybe the 21.
Well, you saw Auburn using clock. Nick Marshall doing a nice job of working that play clock all the way down.
Remember, Ole Miss used a timeout a little while ago when they had to reshuffle their offensive line, and that could be costly. They've got 2 remaining.
Again, Auburn taking their time, using as much clock as they can. Nick Marshall running the show.
On second down and 6. He'll keep it himself. And he got it to the 25. 4-point Auburn lead. And they'll be under 4 minutes on the next snap. Another third down. They picked up the last one. Third down and an all-important long one. Marshall flips it out, and it's dropped by Corey Grant.
Just kind of pulled the string on it. There was a little bit of pressure, and Nick Marshall just kind of pulls the string and short arms the throw, and it falls short of his intended receiver. Not only a stop for the Ole Miss defense, but it stops the clock on the incomplete pass.
And actually Auburn stopped themselves with that one. Sixth punt coming up. Hutchinson has not had any long ones tonight. This time he blasts one. Pack has to back up. It takes it at the 23. Markel Pack, nice stiff arm, tiptoes on the sideline, and now he's run out of bounds, and that's going to be a flag.
That's a late hit. There it comes. It was late coming, but it was the right call.
Ricardo Lewis with a personal foul, and on top of a nice return, there'll be 15 more, and that's going to set up Ole Miss with some excellent field position. And here's the call.
After the play was over, personal foul, kicking team number 5. 15 yards, another run, first down.
Markel Pack really hadn't had a lot of opportunity to return anything tonight. Not only did he return it well, but when he's out of bounds, he's roughed up. And Ole Miss will have good field position for Bo Wallace and company when we come back. Earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Ole Miss already beaten Alabama. When's the last time they knocked off 2 top 5 teams in the same season? And they beat Tennessee in the regular season and Arkansas in the Sugar Bowl back in 1969.
Well, the last time Ole Miss had the ball, with the amount of time that was left, I didn't think they had to get a touchdown. They could have settled for a field goal and counted on their defense to get a stop. Can't say that anymore. They've got to get a touchdown on this drive.
But they've got good field position at the 48. What a big hit put on Jalen Walton, and it's Angelo Blackson.
Well, and an already banged up offensive line just lost another starter. Aaron Morris is not out there. He is out. So Ben Still started the game at center with a knee injury that didn't practice much all week. Laramie Tunsil not out there. Fawn Cooper moved from right tackle to left tackle. Robert Conyers at right tackle.
And as you were just saying, Conyers was slow getting up after that last play. At the right tackle spot, loss of a yard. Second down and 11. Clock winding down, 2:40. Play clock winding down as well. Wallace flushed out of the pocket. Looking to throw down the sideline. Incomplete. Flag down though at the 35. Jonathan Mincy was covering Vince Sanders, and the flag was thrown in that general vicinity.
Holding against an eligible receiver, number 6 in the defense. The penalty is 10 yards for previous spot.
And it was on Mincy. Right there.
Penalties against Auburn have just been
killing them.
Killing them. Costly, bad times, and keeps this drive going. I mean, they got the negative play on first down. They had him backed up a little bit under duress, and then they bailed him out with the penalty and a new set of downs for Ole Miss.
At the 43-yard line of Auburn with 2.5, 2:31 to be exact to play. Play action. Wallace flips it out to Core. Cody Core, the Auburn, Alabama native, takes it out of bounds after a nice gain and stops the clock at 2:25. There are people out there that are Ole Miss fans right now that are saying, just don't score too fast. Don't give it back to Auburn's offense.
Treadwell and Ingram have been kind of the go-to guys.
Toss to Walton. Got the first down. And more inside the 30 for Jalen Walton.
They haven't run for a ton. 146 yards on the ground for Ole Miss. Kind of right around their average. But it's been enough to give them some balance in their offense.
It'll be less than 2 minutes on the snap. With a first down at the Auburn 27. Bo Wallace fires complete out to Ingram, the tight end, and he's to the 20.
Well, that was pretty interesting because it looked like he was going to be tackled inbounds, but he was not down. He landed on a defender, popped up, and ran out of bounds to stop the clock.
2nd down and 3 right at the 20-yard line. It's been a big night for the tight end, including a 50-yard touchdown. Three wideouts to the top of your screen for Bo Wallace.
Treadwell in the slot now instead of out wide. Trying to get a matchup on him.
Looking that way. Going deep to the end zone. Just overshot Ingram, who had a half step on Jonathan Ford.
Again, you see the versatility of Ingram. He's a tight end, but he's got wide receiver skills. And when he gets matched up on a safety, like he was on Ford that time, that's a mismatch that favors the offense. Just a slightly overthrown ball by Bo Wallace.
You don't have to get all three here because you're not going to get the ball back, and the field goal's not doing you any good. 3rd down and 3. Auburn's going to bring a blitz. Quick throw out to who? Guess who? Treadwell weaving through and to the end zone. Touchdown.
That didn't look good at the end of the play either. He got dragged down. His leg was underneath him. He got the ball in the end zone, I think, for a touchdown. But that was an ugly end to the play for Laquan Treadwell.
And he's pounding the turf.
All the ball has to do is cross the plane, which I'm pretty sure it did. But the bigger question now is the health of Laquan Treadwell.
Talk about giving up your body for the team and for the touchdown. A 20-yard score, but as Todd said, it was a terrible looking landing in the end zone.
Excellent blocking on the perimeter lineman and tight end Ingram, and at the end of the play it's Chris Frost who drags him down. Wasn't really a horse collar because he had him about the middle of the back of the jersey. He's just such a big, strong guy and hard to get down. There's Frost just hanging on, and it was his left ankle or foot that got caught up underneath him.
I don't think we need to see that too many more times. A 20-yard touchdown by a guy that's had as good a night as we've seen anybody play all year, not only as a receiver, but as an unbelievable blocker. And we're checking here to see if the ball crossed the plane. No, it may not have. That's the only reason we showed you that replay again, is to see whether or not it was a touchdown. So Treadwell has caught 10 passes tonight for 103 yards. And I just have this feeling we have an air cast coming out on the whole thing tonight. And what a damper it's put on everybody here, be they Auburn or Ole Miss fans, and obviously the majority are Ole Miss fans, and they're worried about their star receiver as we are. And they're also looking at whether the ball crossed the line and then whether Auburn or Alabama recovered the football. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here.
Well, Casanova McKenzie, it looked like, fell on the ball for Auburn as it was laying in the end zone. Boy, this could go from bad to worse for Ole Miss.
They bring in Bill Lamagna up here in the booth with us. Let's talk about the play itself, Bill. What do you think?
Well, we saw that as he went to the goal line, the ball hadn't crossed the plane yet when it came out. Now the issue will be, do we have a clear recovery? Now we have that one look that looks like the defense was the first on it, clearly recovered it. If that's what replay rules, that it was clean and clear, they can award a touchback on this play. If they say they don't have a clear recovery, then the ruling on the field of a touchdown will stand.
And the other thing I'm sure they're trying to take a look at is whether or not he would have been down by contact if he even got to, say, the 1 yard line. Right now they've got the ball, I guess, just out of the fray at the 3 yard line. And the carts have come out, or the cart has come out for Laquan Treadwell, the sophomore out of Crete, Illinois, who just a really engaging young man that we spent a long time with yesterday in our meetings, and has played his heart out tonight in every aspect that you can possibly play for a wide receiver. The 10-catch night, some unbelievable blocks that helped his teammates, and now standing ovation from the crowd here. But we've still got a lot of sorting out to do.
Yeah.
That is just so sad.
Possession of the ball prior to making the goal line. Therefore, with a fumble, the ball is recovered by Auburn. Resulting in a touchdown. First down at the 4-yard line.
It's Auburn football.
Well, it's sad for Laquan Treadwell, a great player and a great night. But I do think that's the right call. The ball did not cross the plane. It was clearly recovered by Casanova McKenzie. And a really unfortunate play for a great player, Laquan Treadwell.
His body was actually on Chris Frost. That's why he never really landed at the 1-yard line before the tragedy in the end zone with what looks to be his ankle or his lower leg. And that tells the story. The Ole Miss fans are sort of in shock. They've lost one of their very best players, and they're going to lose the football game more than likely unless something strange happens here in the next 90 seconds. Just shock all over the place.
Yeah.
And just put a terrible twist on what has been a great game. Artis Payne will be dropped for a yard loss. Remember, Ole Miss only has 2 timeouts. They're going to take one right here. 1:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. Well, tomorrow on SportsCenter, it'll be Lauren Hill's first and perhaps final college basketball game, but her mission's only beginning. Tom Rinaldi shares her inspiring message in a moving story of triumph in the midst of tragedy. One more game, a new SportsCenter featured premiere tomorrow at 11 Eastern on ESPN. Wow, partner, what a football game, and 1:25 to go. It looks like Auburn will keep the number 3 ranking, and Ole Miss, their chances of playing in the college football playoff at the end of the year, you would think with a second loss, will go up in smoke. Yeah. It's not confirmed. I mean, you know, a lot of things can happen, but 2 losses doesn't look good. And in this case, it'll be back-to-back losses. LSU 10-7 last week, and now what looked like a remarkable come-from-behind, feel-good story is a bad story for Laquan Treadwell, and a 4-point deficit right now with only one more way to stop the clock here for the Rebels. Second down, a little over 10 to go. Artis Payne, and he'll be dropped. Short gain. And the clock still running. 1 timeout remaining. 3rd down upcoming. Obviously have to have a stop here to try to force a punt. Yeah. There's not going to be very much time if they do force a punt.
Well, you saved that last time out before the 4th down play. Auburn might even take a delay of game here. Yep. They might run the clock all the way down, seeing that Hugh Freeze is not going to use the timeout until 4th down. You know, Gus Malzahn and Hugh Freeze, good friends, traveled very, very similar paths to get to the point that they're at. Started as successful high school coaches. Both got into college coaching at the same time in 2006 as assistants in the SEC. Both spent a year as a head coach at Arkansas State.
They talk every week. They talked on Sunday, as they regularly do. Hugh said, I called, got his voicemail. He called me back about a half an hour later. We had our chat. They don't talk about football much. They just talk about their families and other things. They golf together when they get a chance. After Sunday's call, they decided no more talking until tonight when they met at midfield before the game. They're 39 seconds away from meeting at midfield to end this game, and it looks like it's going to be a disappointing night for Hugh and a triumphant night on the road for Gus Malzahn and Auburn.
See what Hugh Freeze is talking to linesman there is he was thinking it should have been a horse collar penalty. I don't think it was. Chris Frost had a hold about the middle of his jersey, and Laquan Treadwell is just such a big, strong guy. He was just doing everything he could to get him on the ground.
Well, if Auburn gets this first down, it's all over. If they don't, Ole Miss uses its final timeout. Third down and 9. The wide receivers shift around. Duke Williams comes into the slot. And Ricardo Lewis goes up to the top of the screen just to draw a play to Artis Payne. He just puts both hands around the football, smothers it, goes down for no gain.
Timeout.
And the final timeout taken by Ole Miss.
Final timeout of the half.
Boy, a couple of key turnovers tonight. Bo Wallace hadn't had a turnover in SEC play until the interception at the end of the game last week against LSU. And at the end of this play, trying to get a first down, the fumble was a huge one. And then Laquan Treadwell on what looked like a journey to the end zone for a touchdown, fumbles into the end zone.
Yeah. Well, we talked about winning first down and winning turnovers, kind of deciding the outcome of this game.
And coming in, Ole Miss was tied for #1 in the country with +13 on the turnover ratio, tied with Georgia. Georgia had their own problems with turnovers today and lost the game to Florida. And the same thing's going to happen here to the Rebels unless they can come up with a big-time punt return or have enough time to get to the end zone. Bo Wallace isn't giving up. He's saying, come on, fellas, we're getting it back. We don't have any timeouts, but keep the faith. Now remember, Auburn has had a few issues punting the football tonight. Carlson, again, they tried to spell him a few times tonight to save his leg, but now they know they need their best punter out there, and he's set to kick away around his own 10-yard line. Oh, they came after him a little bit. This kick's returnable, though, by Markel Pack. Straight ahead, gets to the 49. So there's 26 seconds remaining. The only problem now for Bo Wallace is best receivers in the locker room. Vince Sanders has been his other go-to guy tonight. Cody Core will be in there for Laquan Treadwell.
And he's got Evan Ingram, too, who's had a big night as well. You know, the game last week in Baton Rouge came down to a final possession as well, although all they needed was to try to set up a tying field goal to go to overtime. Different scenario now. They have to get a touchdown, 26 seconds, no timeouts left.
51 yards away, 5 receivers for Bo Wallace with no timeouts. Clock winding down to 2. Gonna roll to his left. Throw incomplete, intended for Adebayo, and we're down to 21 seconds remaining.
Auburn coming with a zone pressure, trying to get enough pressure on Bo Wallace, but not sell out and play just man defense behind it, dropping some linemen out, rushing some linebackers.
21 seconds remaining, no timeouts. Ole Miss trailing by 4, needing a touchdown and some sort of miracle on their home field. Wallace, pressure coming, fires down the middle and dropped by Cody Core. Should have had it, would have been a first down. So Bo Wallace well over 300 yards passing tonight, which breaks the school record that he was tied with Eli Manning on 300-yard games. He doesn't care about that right now. And Auburn's going to take a timeout, I think. They will. Gus Malzahn's going to gather his troops around. Give us a chance to remind you, speaking of Eli Manning, he's in action on Monday Night Football against Andrew Luck and the Colts, 8:15 on ESPN, and watch ESPN. No other night like Monday. Luck having a great year for the Colts. And 16 seconds remaining here. You know, interesting scenario last week against South Carolina. You can't have 2 guys on the field with the same number. And just to play serious defense back deep, they put Duke Williams, a wide receiver, #1, on the defense, and they ended up with Montravius Adams rushing the quarterback at the end of the game. In this case, Dylan Thompson against South Carolina. Should have been a penalty that would have given South Carolina one more play. I'm pretty sure they're not going to have those two guys on the field. As you can see, Duke Williams doesn't even have his helmet on. He's got a towel around his head. 3rd down and 10. Wallace, low snap. Pressured. Just has to heave it to the sideline, and it's down to 1 play now. And Montravius Adams, the guy I just talked about, got the heat on Bo Wallace up the middle. So do you try to get the 10 yards with a quick out, or do you take the long shot right here?
I think you try to get it. They're going to give you a 1st down. I think you try to get the 1st down and then take a shot to the end zone.
Throw is in the middle of the field. Hook and ladder. They'll ladder it all over the place. Wallace throws and incomplete, intended for Jalen Walton. And the game is over. And Auburn has won a huge game on the road. And they stay in the hunt. An absolutely great battle between two teams and two very good friends. This one gave us everything we expected and then a little bit more. And it's just too bad that Treadwell was hurt near the end. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, Coach, Ole Miss is going in to score. What did you see on that play?
Well, I saw he fumbled the football, and I knew we recovered it, and so I was just kind of waiting around. I felt like that he didn't get in, so a big play in the game.
You said that this game would come down to winning 1st downs and turnovers. What was so effective about you that way tonight?
Well, I'm so proud of our team. That's a very good team, a very good defense. Our guys, a lot of adversity. We had some penalties that's uncharacteristic, but our guys overcame it, and we beat one of the better teams in the country on their home field.
Heard one of your kids say in a difficult part of this game, this is an elimination game. Let's go. How much was that a big sense of urgency for your team?
I don't know about elimination game and all that. Still one of the better teams in the country. You know, they've had 2 close losses, but our guys won. I'm so proud of them. This was a very hard-fought win.
How hard is it to win a game like this against one of your good friends?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my good friends. I love him to death. He's one of the best in the business, and I told him, hate that somebody has to lose this one. They'll rebound. They're a great team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Still Georgia and Alabama on the road. There's work left to do, but those guys, the Auburn Tigers, stay in the hunt for the college football playoff with a huge win on the road. 35-31 in a classic here in the SEC West. That's going to wrap it up from Oxford. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, Brad Nessler saying so long from Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Tigers win it 35-31. We're heading out west, and we send it out to Mark Jones. Jonesy.
All right, thanks a lot, Brad. A pivotal